One of the oldest rivalries in college football, Wabash College and DePauw University first met on the gridiron in 1890 here in Crawfordsville. The DePauw Tigers won that series opener. In 1932, a 300-pound bell was offered up as a prize to the victor. And since that time, this match has been known as the Battle for the Monon Bell. These two outstanding institutions are only 27 miles apart, but to say they are friendly neighbors would be an overstatement. Wabash and DePauw, the battle for the bell, and one of college football's premier showcases. On this chilly and overcast Saturday afternoon, we welcome you to Byron P. Hollett Little Giant Stadium on the campus of Crawfordsville, on the campus of Wabash College. I am Jerry Baker. Welcome into one of the great college football rivalries of all time. Jerry Berndt, standing next to me, knows all about that. Jerry coached here a couple of years. Jerry, we'll get into that a little later, but first off, tell me about this game. What are the keys of this afternoon's game for the DePauw Tigers?
Well, DePauw must win a turnover battle. Both teams are plus in the turnover ratios, and DePauw has to prevent the turnovers themselves and win that battle. In addition, they must make sure that they don't give the potent Wabash big plays. So a lot's going to depend on the corners from the DePauw Tigers. And number three, it's very important that they keep the Wabash offense off the field. They've got to find a way to move the football themselves in their short passing attack. That's going to come down into their quarterback position. And Jason Lee, who has been a starter, has been injured, didn't play last week. He's a young man that the coaches, as we speak right now, are making a decision about his status. If he doesn't play or if he's ineffective, Scott Shelburne, number 14, will come into play. I think another key for DePauw will be their receiving core, and particularly Dan Ryan. Dan has been hurt a lot, but Dan Ryan, number 88, has 11 touchdown receptions this year and seems to come up with a big play when they need it. And then the Wabash offense have to be concerned about Frisky Williams, number 77. They got to be aware of where he is all the time. Those are some of the keys in this game today for DePauw.
All right, and as far as key players are concerned, that quarterback situation is still very much up in the air right now. Jerry, we look forward to your comments throughout the game.
Thank you, Jerry.
Nick Mourouzis is the veteran head coach of the DePauw Tigers. We asked Nick what it would take to win this battle for the bell.
Number one is the team that makes the fewest mistakes will win the ball game, no question. You can't have too many turnovers, and you really have to be careful in special teams. It's not only offense, defense, but special teams has always played a key in the ball game. And it always comes down to 3 or 4 key plays that one team will make and the other team will not make, and that's the key. And so it comes down to 3 or 4 plays that to win, you have to make them.
Back with us again for his side of the issue, if you will, Joe Emmick, with whom he worked last year on the coverage of the Monon Bell game. Joe from Wabash College. Joe, talk to me also as I talk to Jerry. What are the keys to today's game for the Wabash Little Giants?
There are 3 keys for Wabash today. First is to protect the passer. This is a prolific offense, but without pass protection, it will grind to a halt. In over 400 passing attempts on the year, the offensive line has just allowed 15 sacks. They'll need that kind of protection today for Jake Knott in this Wabash offense. The second key is on the other side of the ball. Wabash must get a heavy rush on the DePauw quarterback, whomever that may be. They have done a great job at that this year. They have a school record 45 sacks on the season. They must get pressure on the DePauw quarterback. The third and final key, and perhaps the most important, special teams play. This game can turn in a minute on a special teams play. Wabash must be flawless in that area if they are to bring the bell back to Crawfordsville. 3 players for you to watch today for the Little Giants. The first is the man who makes this offense go, number 19, sophomore quarterback Jake Knott. Already the second leading passer in school history. This year, 2,500 yards and 27 touchdowns for Wabash. Protecting him up front, number 78, senior left tackle Thomas Brown. He'll have 2 important duties today, protecting Jake Knott's blind side and keeping All-American defensive end Frisky Williams out of the backfield. And the final player to watch today for Wabash, the heart and soul of their defense, senior B.J. Hammer, who has a school record 15 sacks on the season.
All right, Joe, thank you very much. Look forward to your comments throughout the day. Greg Carlson is the head coach of the Little Giants, been around here for a few years, knows what this game is all about. And we asked Greg what it's going to take for his Little Giants to win this afternoon's Monon Bell game.
Well, obviously our quarterback needs to play really well for us, and I think our receivers, Short and Casper, have to have big days catching the football. And on the defensive side of the ball, our DBs have to play well, particularly our corners. I think Scott French and Chad Springer have to have a good day.
down on the field where the folks are really going to get chilly this afternoon. Let's go down and say hello to Stephanie Stang and Davey Neal.
Thanks, Jerry. I'm really excited to get this game starting. As you can tell, the crowd is getting anxious. DePauw is looking for their 5th victory in a row today, so the excitement grows.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. This is my 3rd time doing this Bell telecast. I'm proud to be here working with a great crew, and hopefully my 3rd time can be a charm and bring the Bell back to our brand new athletic center. So let's get this game underway. Back to you guys.
The captain's heading out to the center of the field right now for the coin toss. Jerry Berndt, you coached in 2 of these games. What's going through the coaching staff's mind right now?
Oh, they have everything going through their mind. I haven't been to a Monon Bell game, Jerry, since 1980, the 22-22 tie that we had back then. And right now, they've got every emotion imaginable that they're going through. One of them would like to have the ball right now, and one of them would like to be on defense right now. And it's one of those moments where if you've never been a football coach, you don't understand what's going through their bodies and their minds right now.
Well, as you can see, Wabash did win the coin toss, and they have opted to defer that choice until the second half, so DePauw will get the choice. They will receive and defend the goal. 2 hour left. Some of the fans in the stands here at Wabash College. We mentioned the players. 2 of the best you'll see on the field today. B.J. Hammer, he'll wear 91 for Wabash. Frisky Williams, he'll wear number 77 for DePauw.
Yeah, we've won conference championship in the past, and last year we had a good season. This year we're having a real good season. I've been having a good season personally, but the Bell game's it's the top-notch thing that I've been looking for. Put all records and everything else aside, this is what I've been working for.
It would just put icing on the cake for us to just seal this, for me to seal my career here at DePauw with a 5-0 victory over Wabash. You know, I mean, I know they're gonna be hungry, 4-0, but I just love to smash them one more time.
Well, this is the 107th meeting of these 2 teams. Overall, DePauw leads the series 49-48-9. The Monon Bell series began in 1932. DePauw's Tigers also lead that 33-29-6. And one of the things that Wabash is focusing on is the fact that DePauw has won the last 4 games. And prior to that, the Little Giants had won 4 of the previous 5 with 1 tie. But Coach, as they say, throw all the records out the window. It don't mean nothing right now.
It doesn't mean a thing. I remember '79. We didn't have a very good football team, and they had to run a kickoff back to beat us 16-13. But here we go. We're going to kick it off and make it happen.
Nathan Free, number 5 for Wabash, will kick it deep from his own 35-yard line. It'll be taken back just about at the 2-yard line, brought out across the 5, the 10, the 15, the 20, and knocked down just across the 25-yard line. That appeared to be Joe Shane, the ball carrier that time. We will take a look now at the DePauw lineup. The DePauw offensive backs and receivers. You see Scott Shelbourne is listed in the starting lineup. Joe Emmick, what have you seen out there? Is it Shelbourne, coach?
No, it's Jason Lee. Jason Lee is starting, the left-handed quarterback.
Now, we were talking about Jason Lee. He is injured, and how effective can he be today physically?
Well, I think he's going to operate out of shotgun a lot. They have a knee brace on, and right now he's lined up in he's shifted back to shotgun. They're shifting out into a spread formation. So we'll see how he does. He did pretty well on Thursday.
Jason Lee, the lefty, tosses it out on the flat on the far side. He's got the receiver, got the first down across midfield or right up to the midfield stripe, bouncing across the midfield line.
That's Shane. Joe Shane made that reception.
That is a terrible sign for this Wabash defense right off the bat. DePauw goes to 5 wide, prevents Wabash from blitzing, and they did what we thought they would do. They're going to screen and draw all day long, and fortunately for Wabash, they get a break on this play.
Here is the defensive unit now, excuse me, Coach. Here's the defensive lineup now for the Wabash Little Giants with Trebley, Mercer, Hammer, and Hammer. Those Hammers, BJ and Blair, by the way, are brothers. There's a look into the Wabash defensive unit. It was a holding call called against Wabash College, against DePauw University, I should say, and that'll move the ball back just shy of the 20-yard line. DePauw's second attempt from the offensive side of the line with Jason Lee at the quarterbacking spot, running out of a short shotgun. Quickly on the near side, they go to Shane again. Shane gets one nice block out there and gets it out to about the 25-yard line.
That's a nice little bubble screen pass they just thrown, and they shifted both times out of a tight set to a no-back set that time.
Trevin Upkeys, the middle linebacker for Wabash, is the guy who comes in and makes the stop that time. DePauw has a number of receivers We'll see McGuffey and Ferguson, Shane, Stevens, Grant, and Lasley are the tight ends. Dan Ryan, a questionable player also for today's game, and they run about a half a dozen guys out of the backfield, so you're going to see a lot of action today from the backfield and the wide receivers for DePauw. They put a man in motion. That is Shane, again out of the shotgun formation. Lee back to throw again and just threw it in the ground.
They were trying to throw a little screen pass to the back coming out of the backfield. That time A.J. Smart, very well defended by P.J. Hammer, I believe, Joe.
It's actually Adam Van Meter, a senior out of Delphi, and he did a great job shadowing the back. That's a play DePauw has used with some success over the years. A little rollout and then the throwback across the grain, and Wabash had it sniffed out and defended it well that time.
So after what appeared to be an awfully strong start offensively for DePauw, the penalty called it back as they had reached the midfield stripe. It's 3rd down and 10 now.
Big play.
With the ball on DePauw's own 25-yard line, just across the 25.
DePauw's in a no-back set again, spreading the field out. They run a little drag pass to Shane underneath.
And Shane is hit and nailed at the 31-yard line, and I mean nailed, by Ryan Freeman, the outside linebacker.
Ryan Freeman, one of the 4 senior captains on this team. He is also a senior from Delphi. He, along with the senior class, set the tone this week. Keep in mind, this senior class, one of the best in Wabash history, except for one thing. They have never tasted victory in the Monon Bell game.
And in fact, that's one of the records we have of the students who have come through and gone through all 4 years and either not tasted or have tasted 4 consecutive Monon Bell wins. Springer is deep. Here's the punt away.
This has been one of DePauw's downfalls throughout the year, the punting game. They really haven't had a successful punting game most of the year, and that's a good punt there, though.
Springer called for the fair catch and got it on his own 32-yard line. 41-yard punt that time.
That's one of his longer punts, I believe. Well, that was a tough series that time for DePauw. They opened up with such a great play to get a call back for holding penalty.
All right, let's see how Wabash comes out of here now. Jake Nott is the quarterback, number 19, a fine young quarterback. They spread him wide to the left side. And again, out of the shotgun formation is Nott. He keeps the ball and moves it up maybe a yard or 2 on that play. And he will get it out near the 35-yard line. Mike Lazinski, number 42, one of the outside linebackers, is the guy who makes the tackle.
That's a variation on the opening play Wabash has used all year. They normally throw a bubble screen to Ryan Short in the left flat. This time they fake that screen and run a draw play. With the way Wabash has thrown the last 3 weeks, they think there is something available to them on the draw.
And obviously we all know that the DePauw rush defense is one of the strongest in the country, as well as the Wabash rush defense. Here's a bubble screen.
Knott's got the pass complete on the right side.
Very well defended.
Out of the backfield, Ryan Short. And Short back to about the line of scrimmage. And maybe a half a yard or so. Brian Close and Jason Geringer, the guys who come in to make the stop that time. But it'll be 3rd down and about 7 yards to go now for the Wabash Little Giants.
Geringer is the leading tackler on the DePauw team, and he's going to have to make a lot of plays today.
Wabash College in its first season in the North Coast Atlantic Athletic Conference. 5 starters back on offense, 5 starters returning on defense also. Wabash with the football.
No backs again.
And they got the pass complete and shy of the 1st down. The pass completed over the right side of the offensive line of scrimmage, but not enough for the 1st down. Val Benoit, number 83, was the guy who makes the stop, and the free safety, John Christopherson, comes in to make the stop for the DePauw Tigers, and that'll take care of that particular series. It'll be 3 and out. Let's get the punt, then we'll swing downstairs to Stephanie and get a comment from one of our many, many celebrities who are on hand here today. Here is the punt. It is away by John Loneman. And it is taken deep at the 25-yard line, up the far sideline to about the 35-yard line.
John Stevens.
Let's head down to the sideline now. Stephanie, who do you have?
Mr. James Lincoln is Vice President for Student Services at DePauw. Mr. Lincoln, how important is athletic competition at DePauw?
Athletic competition is very important to the personal, academic, and social development of our students. What they have an opportunity to do, especially in Division III, is to learn the importance of shared responsibility in achieving goals. So we're very proud of athletics at DePauw and what our scholar athletes accomplish in the classroom as well as on the field.
Thank you. Back to you, Jerry.
Stephanie, thank you. Second possession for the DePauw Tigers. They could do nothing their first opportunity. They got it to midfield and had a penalty called, and Lee is rushed and knocked down in a hurry by number 96, Blair Hammer. The Hammers take down the one side of that defensive line. Defensive tackle BJ, defensive end is Blair Hammer.
And actually it was Adam Van Meter again who made the fine play on the screen earlier. He's the senior from Delphi, breaks right through, and Jerry, that's where having Jason Lee in that knee brace is going to be a big problem for DePauw.
He didn't look very mobile there, and it was a short drop back pass also, which means the ball has to be thrown, so there must have been good coverage in the Wabash secondary.
They got a loss of 6 on that play. Second down and 16. DePauw Tigers with the football. The second time they've had possession of the football. Lee will hand the ball up the middle. The trap play gets little or no gain that time. A.J. Smart is the ball carrier that time. Knocked down by Ryan Freeman. The DePauw Tigers have now won 22 of 24 games over the second half of the last 5 seasons and all 13 of the last 3 seasons. So, Coach, this DePauw team takes them a little while to get cranked on. When they finally do, they have an awfully good second half of the season.
They've been outstanding in the second half. They've outscored their opponents by a large number. In fact, their fourth quarter, I believe, are like 80 points to 20 points in the fourth quarter, Jerry. And they have been starting slow. And talking to Nick Mourouzis yesterday, he'd hoped that they'd really be able to get out of the blocks a lot quicker today. There's an injury on the field also. DePauw.
We have the Wabash player coming off the field. It's Ryan Freeman, the senior linebacker, 5'9", 185-pounder out of Delphi, Indiana. DePauw lost its first 4 games this year by a total of 18 points. In that first game at Rhodes, they had 4 interceptions, and the only touchdown was a Jason Lee 15-yard pass to Dan Ryan. They lost to Hanover 24-21. They lost to Hope in overtime 30-24, and they lost here at home to Trinity 30-26. So 4 losses, 18 points, but they won their next 5 games, including a shutout last Saturday against Rose-Hulman, 10-0. Here is the pass intended upfield at the 35-yard line, but incomplete.
Trying to hit Ryan McGuffey down the seam.
Scott French and Brad Taphorn were the defenders in that area on Ryan McGuffey that time. Nice job by the corner that time, French. They're trying to hit McGuffey down in the seam and trying to hit him split the corner and the safety that time. And I don't think Jason put enough velocity on the ball that time.
And DePauw is now 0 for 2 on third down conversions this afternoon. That'll be a big stat for Wabash. This defense was very good on third down all year long, holding opponents to just a 31% conversion rate.
I think DePauw's average on third down, Joe, is like 33%, and they've got to do better than that.
Chad Springer is the young man who takes the punt. Gets it out across the 45. They'll mark it down to the 47-yard line, and Wabash College now will get its second opportunity with the football this afternoon.
Hi there, I'm here with Tom Freeman, class of 70 and father of team captain Ryan Freeman. Talk about what it's like to be a father standing on the sidelines watching your son play in his last Bell game.
Well, Davey, it's tough. It's very emotional. Been following Ryan's football since he's a 5th grader, and we're very proud of him as an athlete. Just as proud of him as a student. He has got almost all A's at Wabash and ranks real high in his class, but it's extremely emotional. I mean, just really emotional. And we've lost 3 or 4 years in a row, and we won a victory this year.
That's great, and congratulations to him, academic all-district this year. Back to you guys.
Jamie, Corey Mock, and we're going to call Corey's name an awful lot this afternoon. He's one of the running backs, put down by Freddie Marrero, 12 yards on the run that time. Picks up a first down with 9.5 minutes to go. No score here in the Monon Bell game.
Little Giants have not run the ball well, but that time they picked up a first down running behind Big Thomas Brown.
Slot to the left side. Bertrand is the guy in the slot. Wide out is Kurt Casper, way down at the bottom of your screen. Here's the give to the first man through in the backfield. Walk again, will get it across the 40, out to about the 40, about the 37 or 8 yard line. And Frisky Williams is the guy who'll come up and make the stop on that play defensively for the DePauw Tigers.
Wabash has run what we call the inside zone play twice, once to split in and that time to the tight end. And first play was an awful good play that they ran, Joe.
And watch for Wabash now, Jerry, to begin working the passing game off play action. Okay. They've not been able to run the ball effectively this year. If they start to get it 3 or 4 yards a crack, they'll go to the play action to open up the passing game. But here, looks like Jake's just going to air it out.
No backs.
Second down and 7. Jake Knott back to throw. He's got a wide receiver over the middle. That receiver is Kurt Casper, and Casper's got the first down.
Kirk Casper is having a terrific year. That is his 78th catch on the year. He's closing in on 1,000 yards on the season, and he has a school record 12 touchdowns. And this is what he does best. He runs the little slant route, settles down in the zone, and Jerry, that time looked like Frisky Williams was back in a zone blitz, dropping back instead of rushing the pass.
They did. They were in a zone package, and they found the softness of the zone that time.
Christopherson and Lazinski on the stop that time for DePauw. Wabash football, 1st and 10 with 8:15 to go here in the first quarter of this game, and nothing doing this time in the backfield for Corey Mock.
That's a little counter trade play that they ran. Boy, nice job over on the right side that time.
Mock on the run, the tackle made by Christopherson, number 2, and Austin Jacket, number 99.
DePauw was coming with a stunt that time. They're bringing the strong safety off the weak side that time, right into the teeth of the play.
And speaking of teeth, the wind has really picked up. It's blowing from right to left as you look at the screen. That is from east to west, and we are outdoors, but we do have some protection. And yet, Joe, you can really feel that wind whistling through here right now.
It is blowing.
It is blowing, is sure.
Oh,
Knocks back to throw. He gets a real good defensive block back there. He will run with the football. Will he get the first down? No, he will not. That was Thomas Brown, the left tackle, who came back. Freddie Marrero was in the area defensively. Jason Gehringer.
Jason Gehringer had him, Joe. Jason Gehringer had him, took the wrong angle that time.
Great run by Jake Knott, and this is a sign of his maturity. His decision-making on when to pull the ball down and run has been much better this year. A penalty on the play. It'll go against the Little Giants, and you saw it just a minute ago. Val Benoit, the freshman from Texas, making a freshman mistake, knocking a DePauw player out of bounds after the whistle, and this penalty will wipe out a great run by Jake Knott.
So just as happened to DePauw, Joe and Jerry, when they had a first down at midfield, they thought the penalty will become a factor in this game. It will move Wabash now back to the 32-yard line. It will be second down, and it looks to be about 17 or 18 yards to go, maybe 15 yards to go for the first down. The Wabash offense with Jake Knott at quarterback. Jake Knott has had 6 200-plus yard passing games, including 459 yards at Allegheny College, a school record single-game yardage mark for Jake Knott. Knott's going to throw this time. Quick slant over the middle, and this time he threw it behind the receiver, Kirk Casper.
Jason Gehringer made a nice play to bat the ball down. Casper was open. He may have had room to run for the first down, and we expected Frisky Williams to be the defensive star for DePauw today, but Gehringer is off to a terrific start at linebacker here in the first quarter. 4th
down and 16. Joe, you were telling me when we were talking before the game that the kicking game is not the best in the world for the Wabash Little Giants.
Wabash on its 3rd place kicker of the year. Unless they absolutely need it to tie or win the game, they will not kick a field goal outside 30 yards.
Here is Loneman to punt it away from the 40-yard line. He's got the wind behind his back. And did he get it before it went into the end zone? No, it is a touchback. Boy, a terrific effort that time.
Mr. Max Hiddle is a vice president of the Alumni Board of Directors. Mr. Hiddle, what does the Monon Bell tradition mean to the DePauw alumni?
Well, this rivalry is one that never ends even after you graduate. So it's an opportunity for us to gather both here and about 40 places across the nation to renew that rivalry and relive some of the best moments of our undergraduate careers. It's always an opportunity to get together and celebrate one of the best rivalries that football has seen.
Thank you.
Back upstairs in the booth now, the handoff to one of the running backs with little or no running room. Hit the line of scrimmage on the left side of the line, and there was Ryan Freeman. And A.J. Smart could go nowhere. Freeman was there along with Nathan Boulay and Trevin Upkees for that linebacking core for the Wabash Little Giants.
Coming into the game, Wabash ranked 23rd in the nation in Division III football against the rush, allowing just 83 yards per game. They've done a good job so far today against DePauw.
They have. That was an isolation play that they just kind of stuffed at the line of scrimmage, and Smart couldn't find a room to bounce it outside or inside.
You can see the movement in the defensive line for Wabash. That's the penalty. That'll be an encroachment penalty. Here's the pass out on the near side to Joe Shane. Shane, we got it across or right at the 30-yard line. Trevin Upkees was there to knock him out of bounds, but the penalty marker is down. The penalty will be against Wabash College.
That may be a first down. If it's first down, though, I'm sure they'll refuse a penalty.
Very close, Jerry. Have to bring the chain all the way across the field here.
They'll make it third and inches or first down. That's one of those tough decisions a coach has to make now. You take the penalty and replay the down, or you take the third down and make it 3rd and 6 inches, you know?
Well, let's see what they're going to do now. No yards rushing so far in this game for DePauw. No net yards.
That's incredible. They're going to have to rush. They're going to have to run the football. They're going to have to find a way to run the football a little bit against this very tough Wabash defense.
Jerry, it's interesting for two teams that are lighting it up through the air. It may come down to which team runs the ball best today.
Well, I thought that early. I mentioned to you guys early before we actually started the game that I thought that might have to happen. They have to control the game somewhere, and control the game is with a short passing game or the running game.
It is the first down of the game for the DePauw Tigers. Talking about points, DePauw scored 52 points at Blackburn this year, the most since they scored 52 against Manchester in October of '92, and the most points scored on the road, which this is a road game for DePauw, since scoring 54 at Olivet Nazarene on the 22nd of September in 1984. So they both have the ability to score, but the defense on both sides of the line of scrimmage has been very, very good this year. Here's the inside handoff to A.J. Smart. Nathan Boulay is there to make the stop in the linebacking position for Wabash College to pick up on the play of about 5 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 5.
It's kind of interesting. I've been charting the formations, and right now DePauw in their 3rd series is lined up in 7 different formations. Wabash in 2 series is lined up in 6 different formations.
Spoken as only a coach, Joe, would pay attention to stuff like that. If you're just joining us, glad to have you along today. This is truly one of the great rivalries in all of college football. Now those stands that Joe and I were talking about have begun to fill up. Jason Lee is back to throw. Got a receiver over the middle. The pass is caught. It is complete to Neville Grant, the tight end. Grant with company in a hurry defensively from Lonnie Heck out of that strong safety spot over there.
Now DePauw runs a lot of plays where they drag a person underneath and put a player on top on what we call a dig route, and the quarterback has his choice of either going low or high, and that time he went to the low drag guy.
And the secondary is the clear weak link on this Wabash defense, and DePauw has done a pretty good job today of exploiting it, and they certainly did that time.
Dan Ryan was a bit of a questionable player in this game. That is he way out to the top of your screen. Dan Ryan split way to the left, got a man in motion in the backfield. That is Heath Crane.
Reverse.
Here comes the reverse. Here comes the trickery. They've got a man wide open upfield. Overthrew it. It was Ryan McGuffey. Joe, you had warned me ahead of time, the coverage by Chad Springer, by the way, you had said Wabash might have a couple of little tricks in their bag. You know DePauw's got them also.
They certainly do, and Wabash has been victimized by them many times over the years, and they get a break here because the receiver had burned the defensive back, Chad Springer, for the Little Giants, and again, DePauw doing everything it can to pick on that Wabash secondary.
And it wouldn't have mattered anyway, Jerry, because we had an illegal shift called against the DePauw Tigers. So penalties have played a major part in this game.
They had somebody moving actually before the ball was snapped, and once you have more than one guy moving, you have to establish that position for 2 seconds, and they didn't do that. I'll tell you what though, they had it, didn't they? They were playing in reverse, and McGuffey was wide open and just missed it.
2 penalties now against the DePauw Tigers for a total of 12 yards. They're sending number 9. It's Rondell Ferguson way to the top of your screen. This kid can fly. And let's see if they go that way. They do not. They come the other way. Well, Lee can't go anywhere.
Nice job by Lee to get away from that. Nice catch over there for Rondell Ferguson.
He did get it out to Ferguson the time. Terrific pressure that time. Nathan Boulay is the guy who comes in to make the stop. And that time the defensive front 4 of the Wabash Little Giants very effective in stopping the rush of DePauw on the pass play.
Well, that's a nice job. I'm surprised Jason Lee. He showed a little bit more mobility there than I thought he had. Nice job of getting outside and finding that open receiver.
There it was, number 9, Rondell Ferguson.
He is getting great protection, Jason Lee is. And one thing DePauw has done, by going to the shotgun and spreading to 4 and 5 wide, they spread out that Wabash defense, and they can block 5 on 4 up front and take away the blitz.
Under 5 minutes to go in the first quarter, no score. The Monon Bell game, 107th edition. Out of the shotgun again, Lee. He has Shane on the near side. Shane's got the first down. There's a nice little dance on the sideline. Picks up 5 or 6 more yards and gets out of bounds bounds just shy of the 30-yard line. Joe Shane, one of the key targets. Lonnie Heck is the strong safety, and Ryan Freeman was also in that area. And again, they're going to Shane, and they're doing, Jerry, with regularity, 20 yards on the pickup.
And that was a nice job by John Stevens, the other receiver, to block and help Shane get to that extra yardage. Just a little flat pass, easy throw for Jason Lee that time.
DePauw on the move now. The nose of the football just outside the 30-yard line on a 1st and 10 situation with 4:44 to play here in the first quarter.
Then spread set again. Two receivers on each side.
He kept A.J. Smart in the cover for him. Got the pass upfield. It is knocked away, and that may be an interception. What a play. It is intercepted by Wabash just inside the 10, and Scott French is the guy who got it.
Plays like this turn Monon Bell games in a hurry. What a freak play. The defensive backs and the intended receiver collided. The ball stayed alive. And Scott French, who was not expected to play much in today's game beyond the first series, he's a senior out of Indianapolis, Ben Davis, in the right place at the right time to come up with a huge turnover. And when you're the Wabash defense getting burned deep, you need a turnover to make things happen. Let's see if Jake Knott can get the offense down the field.
That is Chad French's first pass interception of the season for the Wabash Little Giants. And Joe, how that thing stayed off of the ground is a story unto itself. They throw the ball up for grabs on the near sideline, and incomplete, intended for Dan Ryan, and that'll stop the clock now with 4:32. Check it, make it Ryan Short, number 88.
Trying to work on the corner, Justin Tillis throwing a little fade pass down in the boundary, and Justin Tillis did a good job of forcing the receiver away.
And Wabash will go to that more than once today. Ryan Short, maybe the most dangerous player on this offense. He's an H-back who blocks like a tackle, he catches like a wide receiver, and he runs like a running back. He'll make a difference before this game's over.
Coach Carlson had talked about his club. He said we have to find a way to eliminate negative plays. Well, DePauw had a negative there that Wabash is going to try to turn into a positive, and they almost turned this into a negative play. Against Earlham, for instance, Wabash had 90 plays, and 21 of those 90 resulted in some type of loss. Cannot have that in any kind of a successful season.
Jake Knott looking for Casper, has some pressure. Casper well covered. Now Wabash facing 3rd down and long. And this is where having such a pass-heavy offense becomes a problem. You can't rely on 4 yards of carry to keep you out of those 3rd down and 10 situations.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is right now, Joe. 4.5 minutes to go in the first quarter of this game. The Monon Bell game. We're live for you this afternoon from Crawfordsville, Indiana, the home of Wabash College. Beautiful college. Back to throw again is Knott. Knott's got a receiver, but he threw it too short. And it bumps on the ground, and Kurt Casper.
You know, one thing that DePauw is doing a lot of, they're lining up in their nickel package. They're taking one free safety, Freddie Marrero, and putting him in a linebacker spot. So they're lining up with 5 defensive backs now to counteract the Wabash spread set.
All right, they'll kick it away, and standing about 5 yards deep in the end zone, Joe Loneman and Nathan Free handle the punts for Wabash College. This is Loneman, did not get much of it. Hits about the 38, takes a Wabash bounce. Picked up, though, and the return is underway. John Stevens, will get it just outside the 35-yard line. Ryan Freeman makes the stop.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Stan Walker, Wabash class of 66. Stan, tell us about some of the Bell telecast parties that you've organized across the country.
Well, we started last summer with a lot of very excited alumni who wanted to help us with these telecast parties, and we've got over 40 of them going on right now across the country. And I'd like to say hello to all those Wabash alumni out there and thank them for their great effort today.
Great, thanks a lot. Back to you guys.
DePauw with the football. That punt, by the way, 36 yards with the wind at his back. Lee will throw it again, comes out to the near side off that double screen. Shane fumbles the football, and as Wabash got it again, they do, at their own 30-yard line, and Lonnie Heck is the guy who comes in and picks up the fumble recovery.
Lonnie Heck is always in the right place at the right time. He is one of the finest special teams players in the country, and he has acquitted himself well in his first year as a starting defensive back. And Jerry, you know how it is as a coach. It's more important to be in the right place at the right time than be good sometimes.
Remember at the very outset, I said one of the keys of the game was turnovers, and DePauw can't turn the ball over. Now we've seen 2 big turnovers. That's a problem right there.
Chad Springer is the young man who stripped it. That's the second turnover of the game. Lonnie Heck With the fumble recovery, Wabash gets it back again.
Counter pass, a little man in the flat out there.
Al Benoit across the 45 or near the 45.
We mentioned earlier that Wabash might go to the play action after running the ball early on their first drive, and they complete the pass to Val Benoit, backup H-back, a freshman out of Texas, one of 5 freshmen on this team from the state of Texas for the Little Giants.
They've kind of expanded their recruiting base a little bit, huh?
Let me back up just a minute here, Joe. Wasn't Lonnie, Lonnie Heck was the guy who was on special teams, as I recall, last year, and the crowd went nuts up at DePauw every time he did something on the field, and boy, what a big turnover that was. Wabash College with the football.
Little pressure. Nice job of getting away from it that time.
Not being pursued, and finally brought down by number 42. That's Mike Lazinski, the outside linebacker that time. Brian Close had the pressure that time on Jake Nutt. That's one of those secondary sacks as far as I'm concerned. The secondary at that time of DePauw didn't give him any receivers to throw to.
And Brian Close forced him outside also. Brian Close was coming hard inside and was being blocked. We put a lot of pressure up the inside part of it.
And again, Wabash looking at difficult down and distance. They have been 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 9 most of the afternoon. Over the course of the game, that really adds up to be a big problem for an offense.
Clock is running, 3 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the opening quarter. No score here in the Monon Bell game on what is now a very overcast and chilly Saturday afternoon. An hour or so ago, bright sunshine, but not right now. Not looking again for a receiver. He's got the receiver. It'll be short of the midfield stripe and short of the first down, and here comes a penalty.
Boy, and Jerry, that's a play that just drives a coach absolutely nuts on the sideline.
No reason for it. That's Corey Yost, I believe. They got
it is Corey Yost.
Hit, and they had to stop there. It's going to be a 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5 play, and you know, there's just one of those things. The guys are trying to make plays, and sometimes they're just a little bit too over aggressive.
And this was a late hit with the shoulder and helmet, a justified flag. If you saw on the replay at the snap, in the pregame show, we highlighted the matchup between Wabash left tackle Thomas Brown and DePauw defensive lineman Frisky Williams. Keep an eye on that away from the ball today. And on that pass play, it was a great battle to watch. They were clubbing each other like a pair of heavyweights in front of Jake Knott, and Thomas Brown won the battle that time.
You think about field position now also. Just a few minutes ago, Wabash had a punt out of the end zone. Now they're on the DePauw 35-yard line. Turnovers will do that to you.
Absolutely. Clock now inside 3 minutes, 2:45 to go in the opening quarter. Still no score. Wabash in the red jerseys. School colors red and white, of course. Here's the inside handoff in the draw play. Running room for Corey Mock. Mock will get it right around the 25-yard line. Corey Yost, the backup free safety for John Christopherson's the guy who comes in to make the stop. 10 yards on the play, and the replay again here.
This is a great call from the Little Giants. They go to the 5-wide shotgun set, and they run a little draw up inside. They have not run the draw play much over the course of the season. They knew DePauw had seen them throw it all over the yard the last 3 weeks. They put in the draw plays this week, and they've been effective so far this afternoon.
Jake Knott doing a nice job running this ball club. He's an economics major, member of the Beta Theta Pi fraternity, starting catcher on the Wabash baseball team, by the way. Jake Knott, number 19. Knott with the pitch back, long range, sweeping the right side. They've got the first down and more. Across the 10 and knocked out of bounds somewhere around the 7-yard line by Corey Yost again.
And this is a great sign for the Little Giants to begin to open up the run.
No question.
They have not been able to rush the ball effectively all year. It's a little toss play to the weak side. Mock with all kinds of running room. You see Frisky Williams chasing from behind, but Mock was well in front of him. Wabash now 1st and goal. They like the fade here to Kurt Casper or to Ryan Short. Whichever receiver has man coverage on the corner, Knott may throw the fade deep to the corner of the end zone.
Well, the man coverage, Joe, if that's the case, is down to the left of the screen down here. Well, in fact, they've got man coverage, it looks to be, on both sides of the line of scrimmage. Here's the inside handoff, though. Mock again down almost to the goal line. Corey Mock, number 31. He has had one 100-yard rushing game this year. That came against Worcester College. He had 123 in that game. Defensively, Freddie Marrero in to make the stop, and the ball is almost on the goal line now for Wabash College.
You cannot underestimate the impact for the Little Giants if they pound the ball in for a touchdown on the ground. For them to move the ball on the ground in the end zone, this would be a huge boost of confidence.
And Jake Knott will try to do that, Joe. Did he get the job done? No signal yet from the officials. Knott was running behind the center, Thomas Meeker, and the guards, Bucky Kramer and Joseph Paradin, but no signal yet. He only had about 6 or 8 inches to go. John Christopherson, the free safety, along with Alson Jaquette were the guys who came in and maybe stopped him that time. It moved what, Joe, maybe 3 or 4 inches? If that much.
If that, and it's going to be interesting with Wabash's kicking problems. If they don't get in here, will this be 4-down territory for the Little Giants?
Oh, fumbled it.
There's a fumble. I believe DePauw's got the football. They do at the 3. We think it is John Christopherson. We'll wait till they unpile him. Tim Borf is doing our spotting, and he's had his hands pulled together. There has been so much action early in this game. Off the deck. Yes, that's who it is. It's number 2, the free safety, John Christopherson.
He was on the line of scrimmage that time coming.
Jake Knott never had control of the ball coming out from under center. Watch it here. It goes right up through his hands, and he had no chance. Val Benoit tried to get it, but it kicks out of the pile, and a huge turnover for the Little Giants.
And Joe, if you look at that carefully again, you can see Jake moving forward literally before the snap of the football.
That's just a technique flaw right there, a technique error that time.
Josh Angel in the lineup now as the deep back, the tailback now for the DePauw Tigers. They're literally in their own end zone. He will get the football, busted out maybe a yard or so on the play. What DePauw wants to do now is simply get some room to go to work. We're down inside a minute, down to 50 seconds to play in the first quarter.
That time,
Ryan Freeman is there, and B.J. Hammer is also in to make the stop that time for the Wabash Little Giants.
That time, Wabash shifted to what we call the Bear defense, the old Chicago Bear 46 defense. That's a tough defense to run that inside play against.
Once again, they send Rondell Ferguson wide to the right of your screen. It's one of the wideouts. They send Joe Shane the other way. And they will keep Jason Lee in at quarterback. He's gone the entire first quarter. We weren't sure if he would even play in the game. He's got it out there. That is to Ferguson. Ferguson across the 10, but not enough for the first down. The stopper out there is Nathan Boulay, the linebacker, who swung over to that side, and that is going to be the final play of the first quarter.
Well, I'll tell you what, I am shocked. We're talking about 2 teams who are second in their conferences in pass offense, last in the conferences in pass defense, and we have a 0-0 game at the end of the first quarter. But this is typically Monon Bell, John, is that right?
Well, also, what we're talking about here, Coach, is the fact that turnovers have played a big part of this football game. All right, DePauw will get the football. The turnover, a major mistake again in this game, but we've seen 3 or 4 of them already. Here's the fake on the pass. They're going to get it upfield. Lee almost had the pass received that time by Ryan, but he could not quite pull it in.
Dan Ryan just jumped a little bit too soon that time, and he had a chance to come up with a great play. Nice job again by Jason Lee avoiding the rush. He has shown much more mobility than I thought he was capable of.
Ryan Freeman in on the defensive play that time. The pressure clock is stopped now. Second quarter just getting underway. 4th down and 2, so a punting situation. Jason Geringer, the punter, will kick it away, standing about 5 yards deep in his own end zone.
Springer back deep to return.
He got it away. It's an end-over-end kick. It is taken at the 41-yard line and quickly knocked down at about the 38-yard line. Let's swing down to the field now. Here is Stephanie again.
Don Popovac is a big DePauw football supporter and past player. Mr. Popovac, briefly tell us about the DePauw football tradition.
Well, Stephanie, as we enter our 3rd century of competition with DePauw football, it's alive and well. As evident today, there's hundreds of former players that are here. They have a lot of bonds and ties to the kids that play today. We've experienced the same thing. We play for the love of the game. Year after year, we come back to support the teams. Victory against Wabash, hopefully today, and it's going quite well. And the tradition lives on.
Thank you.
The Little Giants keep the ball on the ground and pick up maybe a couple of yards on that play. Again, pretty good field position for the Wabash Little Giants. Joe, you just got the first quarter stats. Did anything jump out at you there?
Well, the passing yards. 74 passing yards for DePauw, just 41 passing yards for Wabash. So this game being played much more closer to the vest by both coaches than we had anticipated. I've got to think maybe even on this down, Wabash is going to look to go deep. They've not tried to stretch the field as much today as they have in the past 4 weeks.
Pretty much an empty backfield right now. Jake Knott is the lone guy back there. Here's that flanker screen. They've got it inside now to Berndt Graber, and Graber lost the football again, and I believe DePauw may have it again. That is what, guys? The fourth or the fifth fumble? The fourth fumble?
Yes. Nice play by number 90, I believe. Charlie Stanback.
Olsen Jacquette is the guy who recovers.
This is a jailbreak screen on the cross route to Graber.
Is the guy who forced the fumble.
And he just has the ball stripped away. You'll see it right here. Helmet on. Oh, he was down. That was a terrible call. He was down and the ball popped out.
Now look, guys.
That is
nothing in
awful.
my contract says I've got a referee up here. So
no,
they wisely put me between Jerry and Joe in the booth up here right now.
I just go with the referee's decision.
Lee back to throw again, gets all kinds of pressure, threw it upfield and just kind of threw it away. In fact, he threw it clear out on the track out here.
Jerry, when you were down on the sideline, is that your philosophy? Just go with the official's call?
As long as he went our way, Joe.
Matt Mercer with the pressure that time on the quarterback, Jason Lee.
Now that's one of those new rules that's in college football now. That in the past few years they put that rule in where if you're outside the box you can throw it away, but if you're inside you can't. I mean, it's just that just happened last year, in fact.
DePauw with the football. Jason Lee against hope set school records back on the 16th of September for completions 41 and attempts 42 and yardage 486. He has no fear of throwing the football, and I think all of us in the booth are a little shocked at his physical prowess today because we weren't sure if he would even play. Over the middle pass he could not bring it in. Dan Ryan. That's two now that Ryan's had up high that he couldn't draw down. Ryan Freeman again, the linebacker in the area.
Well, that's one of those situations that Dan Ryan can't come up with. I mean, he had a chance to make that play. He's a big, tall receiver, and I remember at the outset I said that I thought he'd be one of the keys to the game, and that's one of those plays he's got to make. Tough play though.
Well, the clock is stopped now with 13:44 to play. Still no score. DePauw had it down on the, what do you think, Joe, the 2-inch line a few minutes ago?
Wabash had it in the 1-inch line, I think.
Wabash had it. Now movement, the left tackle, number 54, Brian Spillbeeler. And he was the guy who pulled back that time. It'll be an illegal procedure call against DePauw, and once again the penalties playing a big part in this football game.
Penalties and turnovers are the coach's nightmares. Penalties and turnovers. That's one of those situations. They may have been going on a silent count because he was a shotgun, and the line's supposed to kind of peek out of their eye and look at the ball a little bit, and sometimes it just doesn't happen.
Jerry, you were talking about Dan Ryan. In 7 games, he's got 40 passes for 789 yards, an average of almost 20 yards per catch. Today, he has not been able to hang on to it. DePauw with 4 penalties, Jerry, for 32 yards today.
Screen. Interception.
Intercepted. Terrific defensive play turned in by the defensive end. Let me check who it is. Is it Trebley? It is Joe Trebley, number 99, the big defensive end for Wabash. What a terrific job. They were trying to go to Aaron Casada, the running back.
And Trebley makes a great play. He just reaches up, gets a big mitt on the ball, and hauls it down. This is a great defensive play. And this has been a big week for Joe Trebley. This young man was named District Academic All-American in Division III. He spent his summer working at Harvard University doing cancer research as a biology intern. He gets the academic honor and now comes up with a huge play for the Little Giants.
The Wabash Little Giants' second interception, the 3rd turnover for DePauw. They'll try the left side. They're inside the 10. They're just outside, about the 7-yard line. What turnovers! You know, guys, I expected the meter to be high on that level, but I did not expect that many turnovers, especially early on in the football game.
That's 5 in the first half, with still 13 minutes to go. That's a tackle by the whole right side of the defensive front that time.
2nd down and goal now. The ball is on the 7-yard line of the Wabash Little Giants. Jake Knott has gone all the way at quarterback. They put a man in motion. Ryan Short, the H-back. Back to throw is Knott trying to find a receiver. Throws it into the end zone, and it's knocked down.
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
The defender in the area that time literally had no chance to make the interception. It was David Blackburn, the cornerback, number 31 for the white-clad DePauw Tigers. Now it's 3rd down and goal.
We mentioned earlier that Wabash likes to throw the fade route. That's what they wanted. The first option was the fade to Short, who came in motion, flared to the corner of the end zone. DePauw shut it down and had no other option.
They really forced the receiver. They wouldn't let the receiver outside that time.
Now, Joe, this is an important play. You talked about the lack of kicking game for Wabash. They're in a position now where they need to punt this in, or they've got to make a big decision here.
They went with empty backfield.
Mock is the man in motion that time, thrown over the middle and almost intercepted again. Good defensive play right on the goal line. They were going to Kurt Casper that time. Now, what do we do here, Joe?
They're going to kick, Jerry.
All right.
Okay.
And we are going to see, for you people who like old-fashioned football, Coach, you're going to love this. Olmi Olmstead, a 230-pound reserve offensive lineman with a square-toe shoe, will kick a goal.
Back in my grade school days. Straight on.
Looks like it'll be about a 24-yard
see what Olmi can do here. Here is the straight-on kick. You just never see this. It looked good from here. It is good. And the first points of the football game belong to the Wabash Little Giants. The field goal by Olmi Olmstead. He will kick the extra points. They had told us earlier that Nathan Free would kick the field goals, but that was almost an extra point distance. Olmi Olmstead straight on, 29-yard field goal makes it 3-0 Wabash with 12:48 to go in the first half of this football game.
Well, I mean, I can't believe this. We've had 5 turnovers, and I said at the very outset, they cannot turn the football over. And to turn it over down inside your 10-yard line, that's almost strangling yourself. That's a nice job by that kicker to get it in.
You'll get a look at a throwback kicker, head down, foot straight ahead. Looks like a Joe Necro knuckleball flying through the uprights, but it still counts for 3 points. Wabash has to feel good about getting points on the board and taking the early lead. However, that's the second time they've been close and have not been able to get the ball in the end zone. They really need to get touchdowns inside the red zone.
Joe, you talked about Olmi against Gross-Holman last week. Now, this was the first time he had kicked. He set a school single-game record for extra point kicks. He had 9. He missed his very first one a week ago, then had 9 straight in his first collegiate game. So Olmi Olmstead is going to be feeling pretty good about himself right now.
No question.
Here is
Rondell
the kickoff,
Ferguson.
taken deep. Rondell Ferguson about the 12-yard line. This young man, as I mentioned, has got some good speed. This time, there's no place to use that speed. He'll get it across the 25 to the 27 or 8-yard line.
I'll tell you what, I'm totally surprised with the offense right now, production. In fact, I'm surprised with Wabash being able to run the ball like that. They've got 57 yards rushing already.
Coach, let's go downstairs. Davey Neal's got one of the all-time greats at Wabash College. Davey?
Thanks, Jerry. I'm here with Pete Metzlars, Wabash class of '82, All-American tight end at Wabash and former NFL pro. Pete, you've been in some great Bell games. What are some of your best Bell memories?
Well, obviously, my best memories are 2 victories, my freshman and sophomore years. And then, of course, you take the bittersweet with our defeat our senior year when we're undefeated going into the game, ranked 3rd or 4th in the country. So a lot of ups, a lot of downs. The memory of my freshman year when they stole the Bell and us going down and invading the campus and taking it over until they decided to give it back to us. Just all those memories come flashing back as you're back here for the game.
That's great. Thanks a lot and enjoy the game. Thanks, Dave. Back to you.
Well, you talk about one of the great athletes of all time, Pete Metzlars, basketball and football player.
Better basketball player than a football player here at Wabash. Led the Little Giants to the 1982 NCAA Division III national basketball title.
By the way, that series was 4 plays covering 49 seconds at Olmstead's 29-yard field goal. 3-0 now. Here's the slant pattern coming inside. The pass is caught by Joe Shane. Not much of a gain that time.
No.
It is
that's that little underneath
Artie
drag pattern
Montez
coming in there. And then he didn't push up the field quite enough that time.
3rd down and 9. Jason Lee started this football game at quarterback. We were not sure he would. Had he not, Scott Shelbourne would have been in at the quarterbacking position. But Jerry Berndt, I've seen no indications that Jason Lee is not that. Maybe he's not 100%, but he's got to be up in the 90s.
He's doing a good job. His mobility really surprises me with the kind of injury he had.
Here's a whistle stopping the play. Some kind of an offensive procedure call. Let's talk about the injury, Jerry. What was the extent of the injury? How did it come about?
Well, I think he got hurt in the center game, and I think he played the whole rest of the game. I think he got hurt in the first half. It's a knee injury. I think it's his ACL, in fact, and they have a huge brace on his knee right now, and that, which really you think would limit his mobility, but he has really moved around very well.
But he missed that Rose-Hulman game of a week ago with that knee injury. And back on the 21st of October, he moved up to number 6 in school history for single season yards passing with 1,744. Back he goes again, the lefty looking over the middle, and the pass is dropped by Shane. Yeah. Shane has 6 receptions for 53 yards, and that's one that's probably catchable, but he did not.
They had, again, that little underneath pattern that they throw an awful lot. The Wabash is lining up in a lot more man coverage than I expected. They're playing a lot of man underneath coverage, and DePauw is bringing a lot of people across the field running away from the coverage. I don't think this is DePauw's strength to be punting the football quite this much.
Heck and Springer are back. Gehringer will kick it away. He's standing on his own 10-yard line. 11-10 to go now here in the first half of this game. Here is the punt. This one's a little bit better. Still an end-over-end punt taken at the 41-yard line. Springer will get it out shy of the 50-yard line. They'll mark it down at about the 49. Let's swing back down to field side here as Ryan Lashley is the guy who came in and made the defensive stop. Stephanie again. Stephanie?
Doug McAllister is a former football player and current member of the Alumni Board of Directors. Mr. McAllister, what does the game mean to other football alumni?
Well, Stephanie, I'll tell you, once you've played in a game with this kind of intensity and tradition, you never forget it. I can promise you there are about 1,500 active DePauw football alumni around the country today that will either check the internet or call their newspaper tonight or check at one of the 40 parties that are going on around the country. I'd also like to send some special greetings to 2 of the DePauw Wabash parties going on, our hometown in Cincinnati, and we have 2 children who are in Los Angeles at Westwood, California, starting the day off with a DePauw football game. I'll tell you folks, we're going to hold this one and it'll be tight in the 4th quarter, and go DePauw.
Thank you.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Our telecast literally going all over the country today to various and sundry alumni groups, and we salute you all, and we're delighted to have you along. Wish you could be here with us today. In fact, we're all over the world on the internet, so this coverage can be seen or heard almost anywhere you can find a spot to find a machine. Jake Knott going upfield and just literally throwing it away.
That was good pressure, very good pressure up the front that time. Brian Close had good pressure on him.
We talked in the pregame about the keys to the game for the Little Giants being protecting Jake Knott and then getting a pass rush when they're on defense. The reverse so far, DePauw's done a great job protecting Jason Lee. Jake Knott has not had the time to sit back, pick his receivers at will the way he has been able to the last 3 or 4 weeks.
10 minutes and 12 seconds of playing time in the first half of this football game. Jake Knott moved to 3rd place on the school's career passing list in that game at Hiram. Also 3rd on the school's total offense list. Jake Knott.
Empty backfield again. So they put pressure on him again.
Well, they've got him. They're going to drag him down around the 30-yard line.
That's
the middle
a big
linebacker, Jason Gehringer, is the guy who came in there and did a terrific job because literally he had some help, but he had most of the job to do himself, and there is Jake Knott on your screen.
Knott drops to throw, has no protection, jailbreak in the backfield, and Wabash has done a great job controlling Frisky Williams.
Yes.
They have not been able to get a hat on Gehringer. He's been the big play guy on the DePauw defense.
17-yard loss on that play. Here's the punt. It's not a very good punt. Hits right about the 41-yard line. Finally scooped up to the 31. Stevens will get a pretty good block. Get it back across the 35 at the 36 or 37-yard line.
Joe Loneman, the Wabash punter, has kicked the ball much better than this throughout the year, averaging only 38 yards per punt. Not All-American numbers, but certainly respectable at the Division III level. He's had a bad day so far today. That's just a 34-yarder.
And Stevens got a great block from Justin Tillis that time.
2 running backs set in behind the quarterback Jason Lee now. They'll reset the tight end to the left side. Wideouts both ways.
Heath Crane's back in there. He's a fullback now. They just cannot run right now.
Here's Smart. Nowhere to go for A.J. Smart. He had all kinds of company, and again, it was the strong safety, Lonnie Heck, who comes in and makes things happen. We'll look at this again, Coach. He just has nowhere to go.
No, when they're lining up in that 2-back set with a tight end out there, Wabash is kind of loading on that side, and right now they're having problems running in that side.
5-yard loss on the play, make it 2nd down and 15. We've just ticked inside 9 minutes to play here in the second quarter. 3-0 on a field goal turned in, a 29-yarder by Omi Olmstead in the game. That's all the scoring we have. 3-0 with Wabash on top, what we thought might be a high-scoring game. DePauw has -1 yard rushing. Here's the pass again.
Another chance.
And
Dan Ryan
could not hang on. Ryan Freeman, the defender on that play.
Jason Lee's just a little bit tall, a little bit high in that throw to Dan Ryan coming over the middle. He had John Stevens breaking free down the middle, and he didn't see him.
Jerry, I've noticed that a lot of Lee's passes are floating on him. Does that have anything to do with the knee affecting mechanics?
I wouldn't doubt that at all, because I think he's having a little hard time pushing off.
Well, Joe and Jerry, also keep in mind he's throwing with the wind right now too, and sometimes that can kind of get under that and give you a little more oomph than you really want.
Big 3rd down play again.
Lee kind of
going to Dan Ryan.
He's going to Ryan again. Was there contact? There may have been, but incidental. Ryan gets up looking for the defensive pass interference call that did not come. He was covered back there by Lonnie Heck again.
That's another one. That's 4 plays that they've gone. Jason Lee has gone Dan Ryan that have just been a fingernail away from being big plays.
And what worries me about that is he has been open. It has not been Wabash defense causing the incompletion. It's been bad passes. If Lee gets that ball on the money, that's a touchdown.
It's certainly a big play, Joe, and they've got to convert those plays. Now, the unfortunate thing is that, they have not done that. They've not been able to make the big plays, and right now Wabash seems to be making a play.
Derringer will punt it away.
This
time it gets pretty good foot into it. It is taken at the 30-yard line and a fumble, and let's wait and see. They'll umpile him. I think Wabash got it back, but DePauw is saying otherwise, and it is DePauw.
6 turnovers, man.
6 turnovers, and we still have 8.5 minutes to go in the first half of this football game.
We said special teams play would be the key to the game, or one of the keys for the Little Giants. They needed to have a nearly flawless game, and this turnover gives DePauw its best field position of the day. And it's just a matter of Chad Springer not getting a hold of the ball before he heads upfield. It's a very, very good kick. He probably should have called for a fair catch in that situation. Tried to be the hero and shoestring it, and it cost him. DePauw with great field position.
Justin Tillis, number 29, gets credit for the fumble recovery. A 38-yard punt that turns into disaster again for Wabash. And as Jerry just pointed out, the 6th turnover in the first half, and here's the sack. Lee with nowhere to go this time. And Matt Mercer came storming in from the nose guard position to make the tackle that time.
That's a nice move by Matt Mercer, because Jason Lee had Dan Ryan wide open in the flat.
Interesting to note, the offensive line of DePauw averages 250 pounds per man. The defensive front 4 for Wabash, 241-3, with Trebley, Mercer, Hammer, and Hammer up there. So there's not a lot of difference on either side of that line. It's just who gets the first quick move, and is Johnny on the spot. 7:45 to go now in the half. 3-0 Wabash for the Monon Bell.
Empty backfield again.
Here's Lee over the middle, got the slant pattern in the middle to Shane. He couldn't hang on to the football. Boy, they're dropping a lot of footballs today, guys.
That's unbelievable, because the DePauw receivers are known for catching the football. And that's probably about 6 drops that they've had, or 6 potential passes that could have been caught.
Ryan Freeman's the guy who was defending him that time.
Good pressure up the middle from middle linebacker Trevin Upkees, and that play was right there. Shane just dropped the ball, and this has been a horribly played game with penalties, turnovers, drop passes. I know both teams have nerves coming into this game. I don't know that in the 13 Monon Bell games I've covered, I've seen one start quite this badly in terms of sloppy play.
And continue on as it has. That's the thing, Joe. Yeah, you expect a little nerve problem early on, but these teams are out here a good hour and a half before the game.
Dan Ryan.
We're going to Ryan again, and he dropped it again. But awfully good defensive coverage that time in the secondary. Ryan is still down, and so is the defender, who we think is Lonnie Heck again.
Lonnie Heck's having a good game. Now, Dan Ryan could catch that pass, though. Lonnie got his hand in there, but Dan Ryan had a chance to make that play.
I'll tell you what, they don't want this guy out of there very long. Lonnie Heck, number 22, coming off the field. Joe Shane, we've heard his name a lot in this football game. What are his thoughts on playing in this Monon Bell game today?
Well, we started off a little slow. We have 4 new coaches this year. Players usually don't like change, but the coaches came in, and we adjusted well to that. We had a new quarterback this year in Jason Lee, and it took him a little time to get comfortable back there, not taking a snap and being in live action for 3 years. and we had some young receivers. We lost two of our running backs. So we've had to overcome adversity. We've been on track the last 5 games, and hopefully we'll continue that success.
On the half-yard line. The punt from Gehringer out on the 1 or maybe the half-yard line.
Wow. That is a big play also.
36 yards on the punt. The distance is not nearly as significant as the fact that it went out of bounds inside the 1-yard line. No return. Let's swing back down to the end zone here at the Byron P. Howlett Little Giant Stadium. Davey Neal standing by. Davey.
We're here with Tom Jennings, class of 1947, here for the Beta House rededication. Tom, you were here as a student in 1947. Talk about how Wabash is different today from when you were a student.
Well, it changes. This college was recently ranked as the #1 liberal arts college in America. The campus keeps expanding. Buildings are modernized, expanded, or replaced. The curriculum has been brought into the technology age. But the best part of coming back is the chance to talk to some of the outstanding young men that are students here at Wabash.
Thank you very much, sir, and enjoy the rest of the game. Back to you guys.
Couple of yard gains on the first play as they try it up the middle. Wabash Little Giants football, 2nd down and 8. We're inside 7 minutes now in the first half of this football game. 3-0 in favor of Wabash. They'll keep it on the ground again, try the left side, get it out across the 5, trying to get some manipulation room, some running room out there. Pick up at 3 or 4 yards on the play. No first downs in the second quarter for either club. Brian Close on the stop that time. But a half a dozen turnovers, Jerry. That's amazing.
You know what? If somebody would told me we'd be 3-0 with 6 minutes to go in the game, I said, you're at another game. You're not at this game.
Now, we expected some scoring on the board. DePauw coming off a shutout victory, but Wabash over the last several games has put 36, 49, 45, and last Saturday 69 points on the board. They beat Denison 69-33, but turnovers have really played a big part in this game. Pass incomplete. Good defensive play turned in by David Blackburn that time. The crowd wanting some goals.
Actually, Sean Odom.
Interference. They didn't get it. And Wabash will have to kick it away again.
Jake Knott has just not been able to get into any kind of rhythm today. He is used to taking the ball, throwing off the last step of his drop. That time he was not comfortable in the backfield at all. Not only that, but the Little Giants again with another injury as Bucky Kramer came off the field. The junior left guard out of Monticello, Indiana, he was limping badly.
Boy, Loneman just got it away, and it may have been tipped. It'll roll out of bounds right at the 30-yard line. Loneman really had to hurry to get that thing away and did not get much on it. Let's go back down to the end zone. Stephanie Stang, representing DePauw University, is there with a couple of very special guests.
The Jewett family has a long-standing tradition of DePauw graduates and Monon Bell game attendance. How many games have you attended, and what about your father?
This will be my 41st game, and this is his 70th game.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I happen to know John Jewett. He's a fine guy, and man, that's amazing.
70 games?
70 games.
Wow.
John looks like he's about 55. He must have come early. He's come to a couple of times or something.
Little Giants playing with fire right now with their special teams miscues. They can't keep giving DePauw the ball at the 30 and getting away with it.
That's that field position again. DePauw just can't, at this stage, run the football effectively.
In fact, neither club right now can run the football very effectively.
That's going to come back to bite them if they don't. I mean, I really think that they've got to establish some kind of a running game at some point. And we're in that 2nd and long situation again. I mean, both teams have been in 2nd and longs and 3rd and longs much too much in this game.
DePauw University under Nick Mourouzis, 20th year, 120 wins, 74 losses, 4 ties. He's 10-8-1 in Monon Bell games, by the way. And sometimes here, these two schools, that's how they measure your success, and why not? DePauw with the football again, 2nd down and 8. Wide open pass to Ryan on the other side. And he gets it to about the 20-yard line. The one thing I'll say, Jerry Berndt, about the offensive play calling and Jason Lee, even though they've not got much out of Ryan, they continue to go to him.
They do. I think the coaches believe that, again, he is one of their big play players, and that's the pass that they tried to go to a little bit ago that Jason couldn't get rid of the ball. He got sacked on it. So they're going to keep coming back to him. He can make plays.
Well, we mentioned he caught 40 passes for 789 yards coming into the game today. He has 11 touchdowns. In fact, he had an 82-yard touchdown catch against Millsaps College, so they know he's got the hands. Today has just not been one of those days. 5:03 to go in the first half. 3-0 Wabash. Here's the draw play inside. The running man is Jackson Rust, and Rust takes it over the right side and bangs it inside the 15. I think they'll put it down right on the 15-yard line. The middle linebacker, Trevin Uppies, along with nose guard backup Chris Butcher, in to make the stop that time for the Wabash Little Giants.
That's unbelievable. That's the longest run they've had this today.
Rust from
Jackson Rust.
Roachdale, Indiana, not too far from here. North Putnam High School. You know, the rushing stats when they get here at halftime, Jerry, there's not going to be a lot of numbers on those things.
Unbelievable. DePauw's lining up with two receivers and tight end to the right side that time. They've got Dan Ryan again.
Lee goes to Ryan on the other side of the field. He will stop the clock and moves it inside the 10. Ronnie Heck, Terrence Nance, backup strong safety in that area. We have not seen Heck. We'll keep an eye on him on the sideline, Joe, because if they lose Lonnie Heck defensively, they've lost something.
Lonnie Heck is on the sideline. He's standing, putting weight on both feet. So I think that at least the injury is not terribly serious from what we can tell. But Terrence Nance is a freshman, and DePauw's going to go right after him as the replacement for the injured Heck. It
is a first down and goal to go. The ball is on the 8-yard line. 4 minutes, 18 seconds of playing time in the first half of this Monon Bell game, number 107.
3 receiver, 2 backs. They put Dan Ryan in the backfield that time.
Oh my! Right through the hands of Joe Shane and almost intercepted over there by Scott French.
Scott French just dropped a 10-0 lead for the Little Giants.
He sure did. You know, what DePauw's been doing, he's been lining up a lot with 2 receivers and a tight end on the same side. And I don't think it's a formation that Wabash has seen very much of before.
If French catches that, it's a 96-yard return for a touchdown. There was nobody near him. If he had angled to the near side after catching it, it would have been a certain touchdown. You guys talked about the rushing. Let's not forget, these are 2 of the best rushing defenses in the entire country.
Excellent point.
You're right.
4 minutes, 15 seconds of playing time here in the first half. 3-0 Wabash. Up the middle, couple of yards. That's about it. Well, there just is nowhere to go. DePauw will keep the ball on the ground, and Nathan Boulay is the defender who makes the stop. Rust was the ball carrier, number 25.
Nathan Boulay is a sophomore from Indianapolis, Ben Davis. He has been injured the last couple of weeks, did not see much action last week against Denison, did not practice the early part of the week. He's battling a slightly sprained ankle, but the coaches felt he would be ready coming in, and he's gone the entire way today. And here may be the biggest play of the first half.
You got that right, Joe. And the crowd right below us realizes that a sea of red comes up, and across the way, the black and gold of DePauw.
DePauw doesn't have enough men in the field. They only have 10 players in the field.
Lee on the slant pattern
and he drops the touchdown.
The football.
I mean, you can't do that. You cannot make. You've got to make those plays. But DePauw lined up that time. They had some confusion coming out. They only had 10 men in the field. They still had the pass open, and all that Joe had to do was catch the football. That was a nice, well-thrown ball.
I'm not sure I'm real excited about how wide open Shane was if DePauw only had 10 men on the field.
I understand, Joe.
That is a little scary, come to think of it, Joe. You're right. Oh, my. Well, here comes the field goal attempt to tie it up. Scott Shelburne, the backup quarterback, will hold, and Ben Murray will try to left-foot it through. They'll spot it down on the 13-yard line. Plenty of distance. It is good, and we are tied. A 23-yard field goal with 3:22 to play puts DePauw in the books for the first time and makes it a 3-3 football game. My goodness.
My goodness. I'll tell you what, I thought it might have been 21-21 by this time, but not 3-3.
Wabash defense has to feel very good about giving up just 3 points. That DePauw drive started on the 30-yard line again after a turnover. And the defense stiffens on the goal line. And again, Jerry, we've seen it with both the Little Giants and the Tigers. When you can't run the ball, it's hard to get it in the end zone down inside the 10-yard line.
You had a good look at this young man, Ben Murray. What a story. He was born without part of his left arm, and yet put that ball a couple of yards deep in the end zone. Oh, a terrific block thrown down there by Ryan McGuffey. Oh, check it out. It was by number 1 of Wabash, Kurt Casper. Let's swing back down to the field now as Wabash will set up with 3:11 to play here in the first half. Davey Neal.
Thanks, Jerry. I'm here with Berndt Butler, Wabash class of 1990. Congratulations on being inducted into the Hall of Fame last night. Tell us what your thoughts are about that.
It's a great honor to be put in it with such a great class. I mean, there's people in there that play professional sports. Pete Metzlarge was there last night. My mentor, the reason I came to Wabash College was Dr. Don Shelbourne of the Colts that worked on my knee when I was in high school. So it's a great honor to be among that class.
Great. Congratulations again and enjoy the game. Back to you.
Reception that time to Corey Mock out of the backfield. John Christopherson was there. That special guest rang a bell in your memory, Joe.
It did. Berndt Butler and I were students here at Wabash together, and Berndt Butler, until Jake Knott came on the scene, was one of the most prolific passers in Wabash history. He was honored for that by being inducted into the Hall of Fame last night, but those single-game passing records that Jake Knott broke this season all belong to Berndt Butler.
16 yards on the pickup. Clock showing 2 minutes and 49 seconds of playing time in the first half. Tie game at 3. The delay up the middle. That's the first down for Wabash College in the second quarter of this game. And the clock is now showing 2 minutes and 35 seconds to play.
That was actually a bootleg play scheduled to go to the field, and it broke down, and Jake did a great job of coming back here, finding the back. The back wasn't even part of that pattern that time.
The back is rarely part of the passing game period for the Little Giants. That was just the 8th pass reception on the season for Corey Mock.
36-yard line, second down, 13. Wabash on their own 36-yard line.
No backs.
Not. This time, lots of time. Found a receiver over the middle. It'll be out near the first down area. Todd Bertrand, the pass receiver that time.
Justin Tillis made the tackle.
This is Todd Bertrand's first action in 3 weeks. He had a concussion 3 weeks ago, and this is the first time he's been able to see action and get back into the ball game. And DePauw is doing something very interesting with Frisky Williams. That time, he was a stand-up linebacker out on the left corner and dropped back into pass coverage. They're using him, Jerry, to double off Casper and take him away. That's a very creative way to use a defensive lineman for the Tigers.
Yes, they do that a little bit. They call it that's one of the zone blitzes. Where actually a lineman comes out and he's going to stand up and go into a certain particular area. And I'm surprised they do it with Frisky. Frisky seems to be such a good pass rusher. It's hard to take a guy like that out of your pass rush. DePauw's done a good job, I think, of taking away the Wabash key receivers.
Let's get a comment now from one of our players, Tom Brown.
We've played DePauw a number of years, and they're pretty tricky. They kind of know our tendencies. We kind of know their tendencies, so they're going to give us pretty much anything. So going into the game today, we're going to be pretty much expecting anything. We've faced a number of good teams this year, from Allegheny to Worcester to Wittenberg, and I just think we're really ready to play a caliber team that DePauw represents.
We'll give the first down to the Little Giants. They've moved the ball across the 45-yard line. Jake Knott back to throw, has the receiver knocked in the air, hit a couple of times, almost intercepted, and then almost caught by Wabash.
Unbelievable, almost caught, almost intercepted, almost caught again.
Let's take a look at it again here, Joe.
Jake Knott had great protection, plenty of time to throw the ball. Short was open for a moment, but the DePauw defenders closed quickly. That time, Wabash used right tackle Jamie Bopp to go one-on-one with Frisky Williams. The game plan had been if Frisky was over Bopp, they would call a protection change at the line and double team him. That time they let Bopp go one-on-one, and he did a great job.
You know, we've talked about turnovers, guys, in one of the notes that I had made here. In back-to-back games earlier this year, Wabash, when they played Worcester and Earlham, had no turnovers in either of those games, almost unheard of. And the other extreme here today. Here's the pass upfield. It is almost batted free and almost intercepted. It is batted free.
John Christopherson, nice play again.
And once again, the Little Giants do a good job picking up Frisky Williams. And to give you an idea of what a great player he is, he's influencing a lot of what Wabash is doing at the line of scrimmage. They had Val Benoit in the slot that time. They audibled to a protection change, brought him in to pick up Williams, and he did a great job. But the DePauw secondary has been doing a terrific job to make up for the lack of the pass rush.
Tie ball game at 3 with a minute 38 to play in the first half. Here in Crawfordsville on a chilly, windy Saturday afternoon for the Monon Bell. Not trying to find a receiver. And again, the pass was intended for Kurt Casper, and there's a penalty marker down. Could be a call against Wabash. Yep. Olson Jacquette, number 99, big-time defensive tackle, was putting pressure that time on Knott, and the defender for Knott could do nothing but hold him, and he did. He managed to keep him away from Jake, but got caught by the officials.
That's a great outside, just power rush move by Jacquette that time.
You were mentioning Frisky Williams, by the way. He earned his nickname from his father, the way he moved around as a child. His real first name is Carroll. So he's going with Frisky.
He's going with Frisky.
He's going with Frisky.
Well, they have put him in a lot of different positions. He's normally been on the weak side of most formations, but he's kind of all over the field at this point.
Wabash will punt it away now with a minute and a half to go here in the first half of this game. A couple of really good features coming up on these two schools at halftime. Stay with us for that. Here is the kick by Loneman. It'll bounce at the 20. Take a good Wabash bounce down inside the 10 to about the 8 or 9 yard line. And now with a minute 22 to play, let's see what DePauw may opt to do. The way things have gone, the last thing they want to do is turn the football over, Jerry.
Absolutely. They can't afford to do that here. It's one of those football games where you don't want to put yourself in any more of a hole than you are. I would be surprised if they don't run the clock out and go in the locker room and come out the second half.
That is the 6th punt of the first half for Wabash College. That was a 36-yarder there.
The other thing they could do at this stage is they could try to get Ryan McGuffey down deeper and then just throw one up and see what happens.
A.J. Smart set up in the backfield now with Jason Lee. Lee will hand the ball on the inside to Smart. Smart will come around the left side and will stay inbounds to the 10-yard line.
Well, I'll tell you what, Wabash has done a great job of stuffing off that running game at this point. That was a little counter play to Smart, and he just didn't have any place to go.
To the 10-yard line, it's second down and 9.
Oh, we're under a minute.
Clock is still running. It's down to 55 right now.
They're going to run the clock out and go into halftime.
Which may be a wise choice. The way things have gone here, got out of here and try to regroup in the locker room. Tie ball game at 3. As you suggested, Jerry Berndt, 21-21 tie at halftime. I could have figured that out.
Yes.
But not 3-3.
Not 3-3. That's the best run they've had. A.J. Smart, he's hurt.
Taphorn at the free safety spot. A.J. Smart, the ball carrier. Now the clock's down to 33 seconds to go. And one of the DePauw players is down. Very slow getting up. It's A.J. Smart.
That's a little inside trap play again that they caught him. Looked like they caught him in a little bit of a twist move, and that's the best run that they've had. DePauw's had today.
In fact, that was, our stat guys are telling me, that 12 yards on that particular run, the longest rush of the football game for DePauw, which will give you some indicators how tough the defensive side of the line has been for both these fine teams.
Now they could take one. They could take one downfield. Again, they got Ryan McGuffey down here, and the 20 seconds, they could still run the clock out even if they throw an incompleted pass.
Out of the shotgun again. Here's the draw play, the inside handoff again. And I think they'll be very content now just to go to the locker room. Trevin Upke's the middle linebacker, makes the stop. No particular hurry as number 26, Matt King, comes off the ground now for DePauw. In fact, both teams head to the locker room.
Well, 3-3, man.
Well, Davey Neal will be standing by. We'll try to get a comment from the Wabash coach, Greg Carlson, as they head off the field. We'll wait for Davey to make contact with the coach and get his thoughts on the first half of this very strange Monon Bell game on a very frosty, windy, overcast, cloudy Saturday afternoon.
I'm here with head coach Carlson. Coach, a hard-fought battle in the first half. What can you do in the second half for some more success?
Yeah, hang on to the football. Turned over too many times.
Coach, well, good luck to you in the second half. Thanks a lot.
All right, let's get a comment from one of the players about what this bell really means. Josh Bush.
In my opinion, I mean, I grew up around here. I've been watching the Monon Bell game since as long as I can remember, and I just really don't think I compare it to anything because I think that this is the extreme rivalry. I mean, this week is really the first college bowl game. I mean, we don't play for a ring, but we play for something more special than a ring. We play for a bell that represents over 100 years of tradition, and I think that you can't compare that to anything.
here are the halftime numbers. You see the rushing numbers, the passing numbers. Only 13 yards rushing for DePauw, 55 for Wabash. Now, we have talked about the fact that neither club could move the ball, but we did touch on this, Joe and Jerry. You've got two really good defensive teams out there right now.
The rushing numbers really don't surprise me that much, though. Both teams coming in barely averaging above 100 yards per game rushing. So they really have not established the run at all throughout the year. What surprises me is the ineffectiveness of both teams' passing offenses. Jake Knott can't find anybody open. DePauw has people running free all over the place. They just can't catch the ball.
Yes.
Coach Nick, what is the strategy to make this another win for DePauw in the second half?
Well, number one, we're moving the football, but we're stopping ourselves, and that's the first thing we got to do. The only team that can stop us is ourselves, and that's proved true so far in this half. And we just got to move the football and not make mistakes. It's simple as that. And I think that right now it's 0-0, 3-3. It's a tie score. We got to come back and win the second half. 30 more minutes and a lifetime to remember.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Boy, that pretty much says it all. 30, a lifetime to remember. That pretty well says everything.
Unless you've not participated in this game, you don't understand the memories that linger on forever.
Nick Mourouzis in his 20th year here. Greg Carlson's in his 18th year at Wabash College, a record of 112-56-2. He is 7-9-1 in Monon Bell games. Also, Greg is number 2 on the school's career wins list. Pete Vaughn with 113 from 1919 to 1945. So Greg's got kind of a special goal himself today, Joe Emmick.
He does, and if he sets the record today, he will have done it in 18 years. It took Pete Vaughn, the current record holder, 27 seasons to do it.
And Wabash will get the ball to begin the second half. It bounces at about the 15, finally scooped up at about the 7 or 8 yard line. Not much running move across the 15, and that is where Wabash College will start to work here in the second half of this game.
The return game for the Little Giants today has not been good at all. Upperclassmen, experienced returnmen who've been back deep all year long have been making poor decision after poor decision, and again, it cost the Little Giants in terms of field position. And both teams really lucky that this is a tie game. Both teams with mistakes that could have buried them in the first half.
The Wabash offense comes back to the line of scrimmage. They have used number 19, Jake Knott, throughout this football game at the quarterbacking spot. He is back there now. The man in motion is number 3, Todd Berkeley. Here's the pitch back coming to the near side. Hit and knocked out of bounds, but stays inbounds to keep the clock running just shy of the 20-yard line. It is John Christopherson, the free safety that time, as Corey Mock was the ball carrier.
Boy, I tell you what, the secondary for DePauw is making a lot of tackles. They're getting closer and closer to the line of scrimmage all the time.
Good point. Very good point.
The Little Giants with a makeshift offensive line now. Bucky Kramer left the game in the first half with a probable broken foot. He is out. He is replaced by sophomore Andrew Melshon, and we'll watch the line play now with Kramer out.
Second half just getting underway here in Crawfordsville on this cloudy Saturday afternoon. The quick slant pattern coming out to Kurt Casper. Casper makes the catch shy of the 25-yard line, just shy of the first down. David Blackburn comes in to make the stop.
Casper had 77 catches coming into today. That's just the second reception for Wabash's outstanding junior. He was 8th in the nation in catches per game coming into today's Bell contest.
Boy, they really have taken him away a little bit, haven't they? They've really played him pretty tight to line of scrimmage. In fact, I'm surprised they could complete that hitch because they were playing him very tight to line of scrimmage there.
Not 8 of 19 in the first half for 79 yards. His longest pass completion was only 17 yards. Jason Lee on the other side of the lines, longest pass only 21 yards. So there's just not much room there. Hand off to Corey Mock again.
Nice
Mock got himself maybe the first down. Mike Lazinski, the linebacker, is in to make the defensive stop that time, but they did get the first down, I believe. Yeah, they do. Now they move the chains out to the 30-yard line.
That's good second effort by Corey Mock that time, because he was stopped just short of the line of scrimmage to start with.
And down in the end zone, the mascots have started their own rivalry. The DePauw Tiger and Wally Wabash. That is a brand new mascot for the Little Giants, unveiled this year at homecoming. And
I was here when they unveiled that guy, man. He came. I mean, that was a big deal you guys had at halftime when you brought the new mascot out there.
I'm not going to comment on that. There's that bootleg play again. They got a receiver over the middle.
The pass is caught. It is complete to 81, Nick Dawson. Nope, check it. Ryan Short, number 88, not 81. Freddie Marrero in to make the stop that time defensively.
This play is what we've seen all year from the Little Giants. Jake Knott throwing in rhythm, short coming wide open just when he's supposed to, and he makes the catch. That kind of timing, that kind of rhythm is what has led this to be one of Wabash's best passing offenses in history.
Last year, Jake Knott set the NCAA Division III freshman record for passing, but yardage with 2,612, and for total offense with 2,780.
And a fumble.
And another
There's the fumble.
turnover, and DePauw's got the football.
That was not even a fumble, guys. That was a flat-out strip of the ball. The DePauw defender grabbed it and just ripped it away. That's a great play.
Freddie Marrero.
Freddie Marrero.
What a great story Freddie Marrero is,
yes,
Jerry. And
yes.
You got a young man that's overcome cancer, Hodgkin's lymphoma, and he's a great speaker, to people throughout the whole DePauw and Central Indiana community.
In fact, there was a terrific story in the Indianapolis Star on him and how he has gone around to talk to various youngsters or anyone who has any kind of a problem in that area. Freddie Marrero, a real enlightened person with his illness, and he's trying to transpose some of that instruction and information to others like him. That's the fourth lost fumble for Wabash. Here's the quick pass out to Shane.
Ooh, good play.
Shane, by his own volition, gets about 3 yards on that play.
That's that bubble screen again, but the corner played it very, very well. Scott French played it very, very well. Came off the block. That's a nice job by Shane just to even get some yards, get back line scrimmage, let alone a couple yards.
That bubble screen really is becoming one of the most popular pass plays around, and especially in the state of Indiana with Joe Tiller using it so successfully at Purdue. I've seen it all year long in Wabash's schedule. Everybody has put that play into their passing attack.
It's an easy play to complete, and you have to work on it. It's an easy play to defend, but you have to work on it, and defense is just forced to do that now. There's that out pass to Dan Ryan.
And Ryan makes the catch this time. Breaks a couple of tackles down to the 25.
DePauw has had success with that. They're running the outside receiver on a little bit of a curl pass, and they run the inside receiver out, and they're hitting Dan Ryan fast before the pressure can get to Jason Lee.
And they are continuing to pick on freshman Terrence Nance, who was forced onto the field with Lonnie Heck's hyperextended knee injury, and he made a terrible attempt at a tackle there, tried to strip the ball instead of squaring up on the receiver. And Dan Ryan, who ran free in the first half, dropped everything thrown to him. Here so far in the second, he's caught everything thrown to him.
If you did join us late, there was some thought that Jason Lee might not even be able to play today with the knee injury. Not only has he played, he's played the entire game, and now does not like something offensively. They had moved one of the wideouts, Neville Grant, the tight end, out, and Jason Lee simply did not care for what he had, and so he calls the timeout. Stephanie Stang is working the sideline for us this afternoon, representing DePauw University. Stephanie, what do you have for us?
Laura Tharp, senior and English literature major, is the DePauw Tiger. Laura, what is your favorite part about being the university mascot?
Well, it's so cool because I can do whatever I want and no one knows who I am.
Thank you, Laura.
Go DePauw!
You know, Joe, if this fundraising thing doesn't work out, we maybe will run you up the road and get you a job in that uniform. I know you're a Wabash guy, but
you know, the Wally suit is kept in our office. I know where it is. So if I have to hit the street and pay the rent, maybe I'll put that on.
I'd rather be a Tiger uniform than a Wally
you guys settle down.
Yeah, but Wally is ripped, Coach.
Settle down. You guys settle down
All
right
now. No backs.
DePauw football with 11:08 to go in the third quarter. A 3-3 football game. Lee has got the receiver. Shane again. Shane in a little juke job. Gets it across the 20. Knocked out of bounds at about the 18 or 19. And the DePauw sideline over there wanting some kind of a personal foul call. No indication from the officiating crew that that's going to happen.
You know, Jerry, on the timeout, so many times timeouts are called, and people wonder why. Well, what happened in there? There was a confusion on information, and DePauw was going to run out of time. So Jason Lee did a good job of calling timeout rather than take the 5-yard delay of game penalty.
So Jason Lee's been running this ball club and running it very, very effectively. A wide out wide to the right side, number 9, Rondell Ferguson. In fact, he's completely out of your picture right now. They do have a flanker set out to the left side.
Single coverage. Single coverage. Yep, single coverage.
And touchdown, Rondell Ferguson.
They were coming to, the Wabash came with a stunt. They had single coverage on the wideout, and he was too good for the corner.
26-yard touchdown pass reception. Chad Springer, the defender in the area, and Rondell Ferguson. I mentioned this young man's name a couple of times because he has terrific speed. When you put him in single coverage like that, you don't have much of a chance, Jerry, to stop a guy like that.
The corner had to cover one-on-one all by himself, and he wasn't capable of doing it.
Wabash came with a heavy blitz.
That's a nice move. He made a little outside move and came back inside on a little post, and Jason Lee did a nice job of putting the ball right where he had to put it.
They came with a safety blitz. Brad Taphorn vacated the middle, couldn't come over to help, and DePauw burns Wabash.
Here's the point after. It is up, and it is off to the side, and no good.
Oh, wow. That's a big play, man. That could come back to haunt them later on.
Wabash had been living on borrowed time with the turnovers, and it came back to burn them there. This drive set up on the great play by Freddie Marrero to strip the ball from Corey Mock, and it results in a DePauw touchdown.
Murray was 22 of 25 in the point after department prior to that miss, and that is a big one. Murray will now kick off for the DePauw Tigers. Wabash with a couple of deep men. It will be taken at the 15-yard line by Berndt Graber. Graber
nice.
Out to the 25.
Fumble.
And a
DePauw's
fumble
ball
again, and DePauw says they've got the football back. They do.
Boy, big play. You talk about big plays. I mean, that's 2 turnovers back to back. I mean, if DePauw puts this one in, that could hurt. I'm not going to say it's too early in the game to say that's a nail in a coffin, but boy, you can't. It's hard to overcome those mistakes.
We think again it was Frisky Williams, but we're not absolutely certain. And you can see Greg Carlson very upset on the sideline, on the near sideline for the Wabash Little Giants.
Well, the kick return game has been an absolute disaster for Wabash. They let a ball go out of bounds at the 1 on a punt. They fumble the ball on a punt, and now they fumble it again on a kick return. With upperclassmen back, there's no excuse for that kind of play on the return.
Lee's going to try it again. He is his receiver was bumped down to the ground. The receiver being 35, John Stevens. They were wanting a pass interference, did not get the call, so the clock will stop with 10:41 to go in this, the third quarter. Nathan Boulay was the defender in the area at that time, the linebacker for the Wabash Little Giants.
That looks like a misread that time. I think Jason thought the receiver was going to go on the post. The receiver was starting to run a dig route, actually.
DePauw will have the football. A.J. Smart heading way out of your screen. In fact, he's leaving the field. They had one too many men out there that time. Slot left.
No backs
Slot
again.
right, yeah.
You got 3 receivers to the left, 2 receivers to the right. There's a bubble screen. No back, bubble screen.
And Shane again, and there is nothing there.
That's French again. Nice job out there.
Scott French has really been one of the more maligned defensive backs this season. The coaches did not expect him to play very much today, but he has played very well. He's had a big game in that secondary. He's had the interception. He's had a near interception. And here, assisted by senior linebacker Ryan Freeman, makes a great play to bring up 3rd down and long. And this may be the biggest play of the game so far for this Wabash defense.
You're right, Joe. It could be. Again, there are no backs, 3 receivers left and 2 receivers right.
10 minutes to play in the third quarter. 9-3 football game with Wabash trailing and on defense. DePauw striking for the first time in the second half. Lee trying to wave a defender or a receiver downfield, and he just had to give it up.
He got hurt too.
Scott French is there to stop him, and that's the last thing that a guy like Jason Lee needs is some kind of defensive contact. He's been playing, protecting himself, I would assume, though playing very well throughout this entire game.
That's a big stop by the Wabash defense that time. They had some pretty good pressure. Jason Lee had to step up inside. If he had just hung in there, he had a receiver coming open, but he just couldn't find him.
Scott French again with a big tackle, and as I said, not expected to play much today. He has come up big. That is the 48th sack of the year for this Wabash defense.
And it's the 3rd sack of the afternoon. Punting situation, kicked away from the 42-yard line. Heading it to out of bounds or angling toward the corner. Another awfully good kick by the special teams of DePauw University. They'll pick it up at about the 7 or 8 yard line. Let's go down to the sidelines now. And Davey.
Thank you, Jerry. I'm here with David Orr, Wabash class of 57. On behalf of everyone at Wabash, congratulations, Phi Delta 150th anniversary this weekend. You're the MC tonight. Talk about the Phi Delta tradition at Wabash.
Well, it's a great tradition. We are the 2nd oldest continuous operating chapter in all of Phi Delta Theta International, so we're very proud of that. Have a proud history Davey, of leadership on campus. Football team, we've got 10 starters out here. I hope they get it going here in a hurry. But academics is stronger than it's been in a while. And we're in this same fraternity house since 1904, and we go back a long way. We have many people coming back, spanning 6 decades tonight for the dinner.
That's great. Congratulations again, and enjoy the game.
Thank you.
Back to you, Jerry.
All right, Davey, thank you very much. After the 25-yard punt, Corey Mock comes back on the, and you see the replay again, does a really good job, Joe, of picking up some big-time yardage here.
Toss play, good block by left tackle Thomas Brown. Another good block by H-back Ryan Short. And then Mock uses his speed to turn the corner. The left side is the strength of this Wabash running game.
Jason Garnier may have stopped a touchdown there. That was a big play.
Not back to throw again. He's got a receiver on the far side. The pass is caught. It is completed. And now the markers come down.
Oh, unbelievable.
Pass is complete to Ryan Short.
Justin Tillis made the tackle.
I think
John Christopherson may have been late coming in that time.
He was late coming in, although not as late as a couple of the other late hit penalties we saw. I think Greg Carlson bought that call on the previous play. He was arguing that Mock had been hit late out of bounds and wanted a flag. They didn't call it. This time, the referees throw the flag, and I have a feeling some of Greg Carlson's campaigning on the sideline may have helped draw that flag. You'll see Jake Knott drop to throw, and again he throws in rhythm. His feet are steady. He plants and makes a great throw to one of his favorite targets, Ryan Short, who is just a sophomore and shares the single season team record for touchdown catches with Kurt Casper with 12 on this 2000 season.
And you had a good look at Greg Carlson there. The ball is on the 46-yard line now with Wabash trying to move the ball back upfield. And
here's a toss sweep again. They get strung out too much that time.
They strung it out beautifully. Corey Mock is the ball carrier. Mock, that's 17 carries now for right at 73 yards on the afternoon. Corey Mock, they have used him an awful lot today, as they do anytime they take to the field.
You know, I didn't get a chance to mention earlier, but I think one thing that's happening, you know, Kurt Casper, #1, is such a great receiver. And DePauw has put their #1 defensive back, Blackburn, #31 on him, man, you know, all over the field.
Second down and 9, 7:55 to play here in the third quarter, 9-3 football game. Here's the screen pass set up beautifully. The pass is caught by Mock. Mock gets the first down, and Moore still on his feet down to the 35-yard line. Terrific play by Corey Mock. Finally, Brian Close closed in on him to knock him down, but Corey Mock with a terrific run this time.
Just Corey Mock's 9th reception on the season, and a beautifully designed screen pass. He catches an in stride look at the convoy of red shirts, uses his speed to get by the linebackers, and Corey Mock, who has not been a prominent piece of this Wabash offense, coming in just 103 rushes on the season, just 8 catches on the season, and he has been a prominent piece of this second half.
And Joe, we mentioned earlier he had one 100-yard rushing game. That was a game against Worcester when he went for 123. He's been very, very impressive today. Here's the quick out pass. It was deflected to the line of scrimmage.
Like
somebody got a piece of it. We think it was Frisky Williams who got a piece of it. Charles Stanback was also in there and may have gotten a piece of that football also.
One of those two, either Stanback or Frisky Williams. They're both on that side. They had him open, too.
We were talking about Corey Mock. He's from Poseyville, Indiana, with the North Posey High School. Not a big guy, 5'9", 175 pounds, and only a freshman. Boy, does that bode well for that side of the football for Wabash.
Wabash has a stable of 4 freshman tailbacks, including David Sutherland from Champaign, Illinois, who's been out all year with a torn knee ligament. They are going to be very good in the backfield over the next 4 years.
With the stunt, they got him.
To get out of the shotgun and nowhere to go. They brought the corners, and Frisky Williams again, number 77. We've talked about him all afternoon long, and why not?
Now, see, Frisky was playing an outside linebacker spot that time, and he came underneath the defensive end and came right off that right corner.
Wabash has done a good job protecting Jake Knott. They had thrown 406 passes on the season coming in, allowed just 15 sacks. This is the 3rd today, and he came untouched on the stunt, and look at that speed for a big defensive line.
Oh, he can run.
3rd down, 18.
That's a big play for DePauw's defense.
That's the 3rd sack of the afternoon for that DePauw defensive unit. Not getting pretty good protection this time, trying to get a bundle. And almost a terrific reception at the goal line. He had the receiver down there all right, Kurt Casper. Casper was being covered by Corey Yost that time, and David Blackburn was in there with him defensively. But, boy, this is almost a terrific offensive play, Joe.
They came with the stunt again. This time they read it well. A beautiful ball just out of Casper's reach. He split the double team and just did miss, setting up first down and goal. And Wabash will have to punt it away again. And this has not been a particularly pleasant part of today's game for either ball club, the punting game.
That play was actually misplayed by Corey Yost back there. He was a deep safety, and he had a shot at that when he underplayed the route that time.
The wind is back at Loneman's back. 6 punts for 32 yards
into the end zone.
Average in the first half, and this one is out of bounds, and there is a marker down, way downfield. So
I didn't see that.
I didn't either. It's out of the 5-yard line, completely away from the action itself at midfield. So we'll see what the officials are going to call here.
What is that?
It's an illegal substitution, isn't it?
That too many men in the field?
It's almost had to be.
The penalty is illegal participation against DePauw.
Oh, that's a
so I am.
big problem.
They never explained it, but I'm guessing, Jerry, it has to be too many men on the field.
Well, there's one person came in late, right at the end, right before the ball was punted, and it just looked like he was supposed to be on the field, but they must have had 11 guys out there. That is a major faux pas. I mean, that's something that the coaches, they'd be totally scratching their head about.
You would think at the 10th game of the season they would figure that out by now.
Yes.
But you know what? It happens at every level, even the pros.
Oh, it does. It does.
Well, let's see now what the situation is then, Joe.
Jerry, this penalty does not give Wabash a first down,
right.
I don't believe.
Nope.
The offense is coming out on the field. They now are going to go for it on 4th down and 10.
4th and 3.
In fact, in a hurry, 3 more substitutions come hustling on from the near side of the field. Now let's see what Wabash wants to do. This is the all or nothing situation, this kind of a game.
This could be a big play.
Very quickly, Brent Graber comes off the field. Now let's see. It looks like they've got the proper numbers out there. 4th down and 3. Wabash College football. Are they going to try to draw him offside? They fake the pitch. Here's the bootleg. Here's the little clear pass to the near side. It is caught. And I believe, yes, enough for the first down.
Mike Lazinski on the tackle and on the coverage, but it's a nice play by the tight end.
A terrific play call by Greg Carlson, an even better play design. And here is why Ryan Short is so dangerous. He is 6'4". There's not a defensive back in the country that can match up with him physically. There are a few linebackers who can stay with his speed. He ran a perfect route. Jake Knott sold the play fake, and the Little Giants are alive again.
That's really what did it, Joe, to tell you the truth, was Jake Knott's play fake. He had everybody going one way, he went the other on that little flare pass out on the flat out there and got the receiver. Quick cutter over the right side. Corey Mock again. Mock gets inside the 10 and down to about the 9-yard line. That's secondary. This time, though, the defensive end Frisky Williams got back to make the stop again. Corey Mock is having himself a very, very busy day today.
Corey Mock is playing very, very well. He's made some outstanding runs. That was a nice read in that run.
5.5 minutes to go now. 3rd quarter of play. The score is DePauw 9, Wabash 3. It's 2nd down and 3 after an illegal participation call against DePauw, and the penalties have been a big, big part of this game. Here's the pitch back again, trying to turn the corner. Nowhere to go this time for Corey Mock again.
Justin Tillis on the tackle.
That's Corey Mock's 19th carry on the day. The 2nd highest number of carries he's had all season. His high 24 in the game against Worcester. His only 100-yard rushing day. 2 previous occasions on the road against Earlham and last week against Denison. He had carried the ball 17 times. So today, an unprecedented workload for Corey Mock, and it has paid off for Wabash.
Joe, any particular reason why this is happening? Is it just the situation per se, or is it something the coaches said, hey, they haven't seen this guy all season, let's make a change here?
They wanted to establish the run to open up the pass. This is by design.
Balvin Wise, the man in motion. They'll take it over the right side. Here's Mock again. But whatever the game plan was, Joe, it's working to perfection right now.
I'll tell you another key here, and Coach, you know this situation. Remember, when the ball was stripped away early in the half, it was stripped from Corey Mock. A freshman turning a ball over in a big game, you got to get it right back to him so he doesn't lose his confidence.
No question. This is really pressure on the DePauw defense. Now, Wabash is doing a nice job because they're running that toss sweep to a tightened defensive end, and they're able to get outside of him now.
Now, first down and 3. They've got a little room to play with here, too. They got several options. It opens up your arsenal. They split 3 to the right and 3 to the left and 2 to the right. Single setback. Here's the quarterback draw. And did he get there?
Got in.
He did. One of the officials says touchdown, Wabash.
And listen to this little giant crowd. A quarterback draw. DePauw had to be aware of it when they went to a 5 wide receiver set. A perfect play call for the situation. And here is the replay. Jake Knott takes one step, executes it perfectly, gets in behind a block, and the block was made by backup offensive lineman Andrew Melshon, who's in the game for starter Bucky Kramer, who broke his foot in the first half. The backup makes the big block, and the Little Giants have tied the game.
Here is the point after straight on from Olmsted, and all of a sudden it's a 10-9 football game. Olmsted 2 out of 2 after being forced into that extra point position with the injury to Todd Bauer. And Olmsted now is 11 of 12 on the season. And the big ones have come today, and it's a 10-9 football game.
And you should have seen Greg Carlson celebrating on the sideline. His team has not had a rushing series like that all year long. This is the first time they have been able to line it up, play smash mouth football, a new look for this Wabash offense. Now when they come back on the field, they have an opportunity to run some play action and open things up a little bit.
And once again, guys, what happened? Penalties.
Penalties, yes, sir.
They have been such a major part of this football game today. DePauw has too many players on the field. It gives Wabash a second opportunity. To their credit, they take advantage of it, push it in, it's 10-9.
Well, penalties and turnovers. I said that at the start of the game. It's a coach's nightmare.
Here's the kick, taken back at the 7-yard line. That's across the 20 to the 23. And let's go down to the sideline now and get a comment from Davey Neal.
Thanks, Jerry. I'm here with Mark Deal, former Wabash football coach. Mark, you've played and coached in some great rivalries like the Oak and Bucket. How does that compare to this Monon Bell game?
I played in 4 Old Oak and Bucket games, coached in 5 of them, and coached in 4 of these. And this is special. Really is special. It's a great rivalry. I know when I was at Rutgers and Jerry Berndt was coach at Temple, Stan Parrish and Jerry and I would talk about this rivalry every year, and it's a great one.
That's great. It's great to have you back on campus. Back to you guys.
All right, we were concerned about Jason Lee's physical well-being. He got dinged up a few minutes ago, but the whole game is okay. And he is still in the lineup. Ryan Freeman will make this defensive stop that time. They have Heath Crane in at the fullback spot that time. A.J. Smart at the running back position. A.J. was the ball carrier that time.
And the red shirts are starting to fly to the ball for the Wabash defense. Gang tackling done well there. Nate Boulay, the sophomore linebacker. Ryan Freeman, the senior. We mentioned Joe Trebley, the defensive lineman, an academic All-American. Ryan Freeman, also a district Division III academic All-American for the Little Giants.
3 minutes, 50 seconds to play in the third quarter.
Here comes that little underneath pattern again.
And
Joe Shane.
This time to Joe Shane. Shane is out around the 30-yard line. Ryan Freeman from that linebacking position comes in to make the stop. It'll be a third down and about 5 or 6 yards to go. Yeah.
You know, every time DePauw has lined up in a traditional set with that one tight end and 2 receivers and 2 backs, DePauw has gone to that Bear defense, and they've really shut the running game down by doing that.
Keep in mind now that in this third quarter, DePauw is going into the wind, and the wind is significant here at Byron P. Hollett Little Giant Stadium in Crawfordsville on this Saturday afternoon. Big play from Jason Lee. Lee gets all kinds of time, then gets pressure, then threw it upfield. It is complete to Joe Shane.
That's a nice job by Jason Lee. He hung in there, he got pressure, he's going to get sacked at the end. Found Shane right over the middle. That's a big play.
That was also a nice job by Joe Shane. He was bumped by Ryan Freeman. Let's see if we can see it on the replay. From this angle, we can't. Freeman bumped him, knocked him off his route. Shane actually fell down, and nobody picked him up, and he got right back up and found the seam.
And what a nice defensive job with the defensive end, Joe Trebley, the big number 99 out there. He's the guy that put pressure all over Jason Lee that time. 14 yards on the pickup, 2 minutes, 45 seconds to go here in the third quarter.
Stunt.
Here's the draw play up the middle, and falling down just as he got through there was A.J. Smart. Smart had a little running room left, but ran out of real estate as far as his feet are concerned.
Boy, that could have been a big play. He was just ready to cut into the secondary and trying to split the safeties that time. They ran a little trap play inside that time to A.J. Smart, and that could have been a big game.
10-9 football game. DePauw just scoring moments ago. Takes that lead after that big missed point after. You never know when things like that are going to come back and haunt you. 10-9 Wabash with 2:11 to play here in the third.
Two receivers and a tight end to the right. There goes that little out pass. They rolled up that time.
Lee just threw it away.
Yep. That's a nice job by Wabash in that coverage. That's that little pass they've been running, that little flat pass to Dan Ryan. And the corner rolled up that time and took it away.
Little Giants calling for a grounding, intentional grounding penalty, and I'm not so sure that they shouldn't have gotten one. He turned to run, but it did not look like Lee had gotten outside the tackle box, which would have nullified any opportunity for the referee to throw the flag for ground.
Yeah, that's one of those right on the border calls,
yep.
Joe, you know.
Jason Lee now 17 of 34 with 1 intercept and 1 touchdown on this afternoon. 2 minutes
Single
to go
coverage.
in the third. Lee over the middle, found the receiver, Joe Shane again. Oh, Shane just nowhere to go. Nathan Boulay was there. Shane has a dozen receptions for 82 yards. That one got him nothing.
And now there's some trash talking on the field. We'll get back to that in a minute as you look at the replay. Trevin Upke's with great pressure and a great hit by Nate Boulay to stop DePauw and force 4th down. There was some confusion on the field. Middle linebacker Trevin Upke's may have hit Lee late. DePauw complained about it. They ganged up on him, and there was a near skirmish on the field, but not bigger than the skirmish between Upke's and Greg Carlson. And Greg Carlson got in his face mask, let him know in no certain terms is that behavior going to be acceptable in this ball game.
That's a nice job by Greg Carlson because he knows again, that could have been one of those situations where they keep the ball.
Geringer averaging 32.3 yards per punt of the first half of the game. Gets this one away. Takes a nice DePauw bounce. Stops just outside the 20. We'll mark it down at the 22-yard line, and Wabash will get the football back. 1 minute to play, third quarter. We go down to the sideline again now. Here's Stephanie Stang.
Darrell Lindquist was an outstanding player in the late 1960s. Mr. Lindquist, each year you give a pep talk to the team before the Monon Bell game. What did you say this morning?
Well, yesterday we were talking about being the Marine Corps birthday, 225 years, so we talked about Semper Fidelis and always faithful to the team, and the fact that they can't beat you if they can't score, and we're going to try to bring this game home to Eddie Meyer, who's missing his first game in 36 years, the coach here at DePauw. So we're in it. We're going to beat them. We're going to come back and get them.
Thanks.
31 yards on the punt that time. Wabash at the football. Here's the inside handoff again to number 31, Corey Mock, and Mock almost broke it. John Christopherson from the free safety spot was the last bastion of defense in front of the DePauw lineup over there. 19 yards on the carry.
And once again, the Little Giants line up. It's a little sweep. There you see the pulling guard coming over. Mock with plenty of room to run, and nobody in this stadium is happier about this offensive line play than line coach Paul Van Wee. He is an outstanding assistant for this Wabash offense, and this is as hard as his team has played on the run all year long.
Corey Mock now over the 100-yard mark, 21 carries, 107 yards. We'll try the left side this time.
Inside zone that time.
He'll get a couple of 3 yards on this particular carry with Jason Geringer, the linebacker, in to make the stop that time. There's 31 climbing off the deck now for Wabash. Corey Mock, K-O-R-E-Y. That is his 22nd carry of the afternoon. And Joe, were you talking earlier about his high water mark for carries was 24, did you say?
24 against Worcester, so he's moving in on his biggest workload of the season. And this rushing attack is important for Wabash because one of the problems they have they've had this year is if they have a lead late, they cannot kill the clock by rushing the football. If they're able to continue this kind of ground game, that'll be a big advantage. With the way this game has gone, there's no guarantee that they're going to have more than a 1-point lead late.
And that is the end of the third quarter. It is 10-9 now with Wabash on top through 3. Fourth quarter ready to go now. It is a 10-9 football game. The Wabash Little Giants lead the Tigers of DePauw 10-9.
Comes a stunt. They got Jake Knott outside that time.
Knott's got a receiver. He's wide open. He could not catch the football, though. The receiver that time was number 6, Berndt Graber. Incomplete pass.
They really had what they wanted, because DePauw was coming inside, and they brought Jake Knott outside, and they had a little out pattern down here at the bottom, and Justin Tillis couldn't cover it, but they couldn't execute it.
Hey, Joe, I just made a comment during that comment for the president that something smells hot in the booth. What was the story we heard about the fire last night?
It is a tradition at Wabash that Monon Bell Week, the fraternity pledge classes provide campus security overnight. They set up at various places around campus and build campfires to keep warm. Somebody built one up here in the booth last night.
Hope it's not on fire, man. No backs.
At least the booth is still here. No backs in the backfield is right, Jerry. Here's the pass reception caught by Kurt Casper. Casper will have the first down if they mark it where it should be. David Blackburn is the defender in the area.
You can see the difference in Jake Knott's passes when he has time to throw with proper mechanics and throw in rhythm. The previous pass, he tried to throw on the run and he short-hopped it. Let's keep in mind, despite his great numbers, he is just a sophomore. And if there's one thing he needs to do over the next 2 years is become more consistent with his passes, to be able to throw the ball with the same zip on the run as he throws it standing flat-footed in the pocket.
And you know, last year against DePauw, Jake threw for 439 yards passing and had 485 yards total offense.
DePauw hasn't quite put the pressure on him now, and they have a delay of game penalty. DePauw switched their defenses up, and he was changing plays, and just couldn't get it called.
And another penalty called. This is going to be delay of game. And this really is a penalty the Little Giants should never be called for. If you've noticed, Jake Knott wears a large wristband on his left hand. That's the playbook. It's the first time Wabash has gone to a wristband system. Coach Greg Carlson will call a formation, flash a number, it corresponds to codes on the wristband, then Jake can call the play. That system allows them to run this high-powered offense. They should never have a delay of game with the wristband system to call plays.
No backs again. Three receivers left, 2 right. Trying to little hitch pass.
This time also. Here's the little lob pass upfield. Caught! Across the 40 to the 37-yard line.
All of a sudden,
and that is Ryan Short, the H-back.
All of a sudden, DePauw is not putting the kind of pressure on Jake as they had earlier. He's having a little more time now.
Derriger and Lazinski, the guys in the area defensively. Here it comes again, right at you.
Jake just lobs it up for Ryan Short. Short was a 2-sport athlete at Indianapolis Perry Meridian High School, lettered in both football and basketball. And as we mentioned earlier, he is the most versatile weapon on this Little Giant offense because of his strength, his size, and his speed. And even if he had been covered, they can throw the ball up because he's bigger than almost any linebacker, certainly in the NCAC, and bigger than any of DePauw's linebackers. He is a real weapon for this offense.
Ryan was also a football all-star out of Perry Meridian. He's had one 100-yard receiving game this year at Manchester, went for 102 yards. Walk over the left side again. That's carry number 23 right there.
That's that little inside zone play, and I'll tell you, I'm really, at the outset of the game, you remember I said to you guys that the team that runs the ball is going to have a better chance to win the football game. And right now, Wabash is clearly running the ball better than DePauw.
And the other thing about that, Jerry, is the fact that as they have it and keep the ball on the ground, the clock keeps ticking away, and we're in the fourth quarter with 13:09 to go.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Ball security and possession is something that people don't talk about very much, but are very important.
Graber to the top of your screen now becomes the man in motion.
Toss sweep again.
Here's that toss sweep that Jerry referred to, and nothing doing, but Mark turns it into something, and that is his 24th carry. And that, if your stats are anywhere near right, Joe, ties his all-time high.
What a great second effort by Corey Mock. He was trying to run behind a block by receiver Brent Graber. Graber could not hold the block. Mock bounced off the defender and was able to dive ahead for the first down. And Corey Mock has been the unsuspecting star today here for the Little Giants.
Wabash 6-3. They lost 2 of their first 3. They won their opener at Manchester, then lost to at Wheaton and home against Wittenberg, then won 4 in a row. They lost against Allegheny on the 28th of October, and last Saturday knocked off Denison 69-33. Now 24 carries, 122 yards. The counterplay gets nothing this time for Wabash.
That play was squeezed off by Brian Close. Brian Close did a nice job of squeezing the play off, and then Chris Stanbeck made the tackle. But Brian Close, the outside end, was the guy that really caused that.
DePauw, on the other hand, 5 wins, 4 losses. They lost their first 4 games of the year. We talked about this earlier, by only a total of 18 points. Since then, wins over Sewanee, Blackburn, Millsap, Center, and Rose-Hulman. Rose-Hulman a 10-0 victory last Saturday. Their only shutout of the season.
No backs again, man. Ball's coming with a little pressure.
Well, there's that quick pass over the middle. Caught inside the 20, just outside the 15-yard line. Was that Hannum?
That was Benoit. Was it Benoit?
Sorry, take it, Val Benoit.
Benoit. I'm not French. I have a hard time with that.
Neither is he. He's from Texas.
Oh, okay.
Benoit.
The French part of Texas is what it's
French part of Texas, all right.
Benoit on a little hitch. He set up as an H-back in the left slot. He is a freshman out of Texas. I mentioned that Wabash has really developed a recruiting pipeline to Texas. 5 freshmen on this team hail from that state, and Benoit is one of the better of that group.
Here's the handoff again to Corey Mock. Mock over the left side. Got back to the line. Maybe got a yard. Maybe got too close to first down territory. It is Don Christopherson.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's a nice job by the weak side safety in that play that time. But still a first down.
That's a formation we rarely see from the Little Giants, a 2-back set with a fullback lead. Freshman Brian Snyder, 6'2", 235-pounder out of Evansville Central High School, made the league block to spring Corey Mock. And now Greg Carlson going way back into his play files, going back to the 2-back sets we've not seen in 15 years here in Crawfordsville.
Yes, Kurt Casper way out to the right side. You see the man in motion is Todd Bertram.
Bootleg.
Here's the pass to the end zone, trying to go to Casper. He had it momentarily and lost it.
Pass is incomplete from...
They had Casper matched up on Blackburn again, and he did have him turned around that time.
Casper almost always brings that ball in. He had 77 catches coming in. He has 2 today, and this is one he probably should have caught. And now you see what the Little Giants are able to do with a solid rushing attack. They are able to go to the play action. They converted a 4th down off of play action to set up the last touchdown. They just did it here again with a good play fake. Couldn't score the touchdown, but again, the running game beginning to open up the passing attack.
Casper with 968 yards receiving coming into this afternoon's game. Not 16 of 31 for 171 yards. Inside handoff, and once again, it's Corey Mock. He's had his career-high ball-carrying experiences today. Freddie Marrero is the guy who comes in defensively. Joe, I mentioned inadvertently Desson Hannum a while ago. We have not seen him in the game yet this afternoon, have we?
He has been little used all year long. The running attack has been anchored by Corey Mock almost all year long. Also Chris Morris, a freshman from Zionsville, whom we haven't seen today.
Right.
But it's been Mock. But keep in mind, Wabash hasn't run it very often until today.
No backs again, man.
10 minutes and 2 seconds to go.
DePauw just called timeout.
And DePauw is going to take a timeout. Somebody came in from the sideline. Were they short of men again, Jerry?
No, they had the wrong personnel in there.
All right.
DePauw took, Wabash took Corey Mock out, and they put in 5 receivers, and they wanted to match up personnel-wise and didn't have the right matchup.
All right, let's go down to the sidelines now. Stephanie Stang with a good friend of mine, Mr. Eskew. Stephanie?
Dr. Eskew is a president of the D Association and will be presiding over tonight's Hall of Fame inductions. Tell me, who are the inductees this year?
We have 2 female swimmers in the class of 1988, Mitty Smith Hansen and Nancy Gritter, 2 greatest swimmers we've ever had in the history of the school. We have Ted Catula, who is former coach and athletic director. Dan Quayle was a great golfer. Bruce Montgomery, great football player, and Richard Peeler, who was a supporter of the athletic department and filmed our games for 40 years. A great group of people.
Thank you, and back to you, Jerry.
Here we are, no backs again.
Wabash with the football and 10 minutes exactly to play in this game.
They're coming up the middle.
Knott's got a receiver. Caught it. Touchdown, Wabash. What a terrific play that time. Cutting across is number 88, Ryan Short, the H-back.
We told you he was the most dangerous weapon on this team. Let's take a look at the replay. A low snap. Knott does a good job to pick it up. Again, he throws in rhythm, and look at this pass. A nearly perfect strike. Ryan Short lays out and catches his school record 13th touchdown on the year.
Ryan Short was the inside receiver of the 3 receivers that time and ran a little corner pattern. That was a great throw and an outstanding catch.
And the point after is good, and all of a sudden it's a 17-9 football game. Ryan Short, 68 catches, 825 yards coming into the game, an average of 12.1, 12 touchdowns. That's number 13, and a big one for Ryan Short.
Well, many people around this Wabash community, myself included, have been concerned and somewhat critical about the Little Giants' inability to run the ball over the course of the season. Where they found that ability today, I don't know, but give them credit. They have lined it up, grounded out, and it paid off on that drive.
Well, I'll give them credit also, Joe, because they have done a good job. They have run the football effectively, and they've created problems for the DePauw defense. Now, this is a key right here. DePauw has to answer this right now. If DePauw doesn't answer this, it could be a problem. So this is going to be a key return on the kickoff, and the next series is going to be a key series for the DePauw offense.
And that extra point miss for DePauw looking very big right now.
Huge. We said that right at the outset. Huge.
Rondell Ferguson and Joe Shane of the deep men now for DePauw. Have you noticed Jerry Berndt? Is it just me observing this? Joe tends to fluctuate in his emotions over here. Have you noticed that?
I have noticed that. Seems like when the Wabash does better, his voice seems to get a little bit stronger. And yes.
Okay, I just thought maybe it was me. I just wanted to, you know.
Wait till DePauw scores this time.
We have the DePauw and the Wabash group represented in our booth here today. Rondell Ferguson out across the 25. Now let me ask you here now, Jerry, with 9:44 to go, it is not imperative that DePauw score now, but what I would think with the wind at their back, they've got to do something with this football right now.
I believe they have to move the ball this point. And you're right, it's not imperative, but they can't take a lot of time off the clock either. This is an answered drive. Because Rondell Ferguson is hurt, I believe, but this is an answered drive. This is going to show people kind of what they are worth at this point. This is a key drive for them. I don't think they've got to get out of their offense. They've just got to take the ball, and they have a 2-point play ready, I'm sure.
I'm sure they do also. Rondell Ferguson, the young man who was down, just now getting up while he is recuperating. Let's go down to the field once again. Here's Davey Neal.
Thanks, Jerry. I'm here with Mike Douglas, class of '68, a big Pittsburgh area alum who's helped the college out as a volunteer. Talk about how much the fact that Wabash has joined the NCAC, the new conference with so many schools in Ohio and Pennsylvania. How has it helped you get reconnected with Wabash?
Davey, the fans in Western Pennsylvania are really excited about our entry into the North Coast Athletic Conference. It gives the Wabash fans in Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Columbus a chance to see Wabash play schools like Wittenberg and Worcester that have great academic programs and a strong athletic programs also. And we're particularly excited about the Little Giants coming into Meadville, Pennsylvania to play the Gators of Allegheny College next year. That's going to be a great game for our fans, and we're going to have a lot of them out there.
And we'll really enjoy having you on the sidelines. Thanks a lot. Back to you, Jerry.
All right. Matt King on the ball carrier that time. Ryan Short, an 11-yard pass from Jake Knott, 13 plays, 78 yards. A little over 6 minutes, 17-9. And as Jerry Berndt just pointed out, it's important to keep this in mind. In college football, of course, the 2-point conversion. So DePauw just a touchdown away from perhaps tying this game. A receiver wide open on the far sideline, knocked out of bounds at the 48-yard line.
Boy, that's a great job by Jason Lee. He was coming down here. He had a 2-receiver route down here to his left. It was covered. He went all the way back across the field of the out pass.
Mark Reinhardt, number 18, I believe the first time they've thrown in his direction on this Saturday afternoon, but he was there, Johnny on the spot. They'll move the sticks up field, and with just under 9 minutes to play in this football game, it's 17-9 Wabash.
Super protection that time. With 2 receivers on both sides.
As I mentioned, DePauw has won the last 4 meetings between these two teams. Here is the pitch back. And they'll try that right side again this time with Matt King, the ball carrier.
That's again, they're not just cannot run the football effectively at this point. You know, the DePauw tailbacks coming into the game collectively have been averaging over 100 yards a game the last 4 games. They cannot run the football effectively.
Second down, 7 yards to go. 8 minutes, 53 seconds of playing time.
They're back to that. They're back to that 2 receivers set in the same side of the tight end. They like that little out pattern to Dan Ryan off of this. Don't go down the field.
Going to quarterback the entire game. Overthrew the receiver by about 15 yards that time. He was looking upfield. He had Dan Ryan in his sights and threw it completely over his head. DePauw's rushing in this game. 19 carries, 13 yards.
It's incredible. It's inconceivable that you'd have that kind of rushing offense. And
well, Wabash has been impressive defensively. They had 9 sacks in the Oberlin game and the Worcester game, and they held 4 straight opponents under 100 yards rushing. Oberlin, Worcester, Earlham, and Hiram. So the defense is there on both sides of the ball, Jerry, but today it has really been strong.
No backs again for DePauw. A little out pass again.
Joe Shane got free from the first tackler, stepped out of bounds at the 40-yard line. That's enough for the first down.
Once again, Jason Lee does a good job being patient, standing in against a heavy rush, and fired a bullet to the left flat for Shane for the first down. You talk about this Wabash defense. It was 23rd in the nation against the rush coming in today, allowing just 83 yards. And the 2 defensive coaches know something about this game. Defensive coordinator Joe Bevelheimer is Wabash class of '86. He once kicked 5 field goals in a Monon Bell victory. And defensive line coach Nick Cronk, class of '91, also a veteran of these games as both a player and a coach.
The young man who was injured earlier, Rondell Ferguson, number 9, made a nice block on that play. Here's the delay handoff, and the draw play gets it up to the 35-yard line.
I should say something about Tim Rahal, who's on the sideline. Tim's in a wheelchair. He coached for me back in '79, and I should say something about Eddie Meyer also, who coached for a number of years. Is on disability right now back home. And remind him that we have Squeeze/Thunder going next series. He'll know what I'm saying.
Well, let's see here.
2 receivers both sides this time.
DePauw with the football. Clock running down to 8 minutes and 5 seconds to play. The trap up the middle, almost to the 30-yard line. Again, good ball action up the middle. Ryan Freeman there to stop number 26, Matt King.
That's almost a first down running a football. That would have been a first.
That will be a first,
today.
yes.
Okay, man. Well, right now they're doing what I said they're going to do. The clock is down to 7:40, and they moved the football. They got a big 3rd down play here. If they don't make this, they're going to go for 4th down.
All right, they have taken Dan Ryan out of the lineup. This would indicate they're going to keep it on the ground right now. They're on 3rd and inches. It's one of those plays where you must be alert defensively.
They lined up in that 2-back set again. Get it to fullback. A 265-pound fullback carry the football. Yes, sirree.
He's got it, we believe. We'll wait. They're going to unstack him there. Heath Crane is big number 43 coming off the ground. Matt Mercer was one of the linemen. And they have moved the bell, Joe, as you suggested they would.
I'll tell you what, they used to run that play back in 1910.
When they first started the series.
That's exactly right.
That's in the East End Zone, right, Joe?
Yes, you saw the Monon Bell a moment ago in the East End Zone in what will be a neutral zone. It will stay there until the end of the game, and hopefully the football team who wins it goes and gets it. Students like to join in that celebration on occasion, too.
It's actually not in the end zone, folks. It's outside the end zone. Jason Lee back to throw. Pretty good protection. He's got a receiver over the middle. Touchdown! John Stevens. He cut in on his defensive man and got a beautiful lead pass from Jason Lee.
Well, Wabash screwed up in the coverage that time. The corner French thought he had over-the-top help, and he didn't have it. That's a nice read by Jason Lee. Nice job standing. Let's see what the 2-point play is now.
It is also great protection up front for Jason Lee. He had all day to throw this ball.
Scott French was the defender, if you can call him that, but he was 5 yards away, Joe. Well, they have to go for the two-point conversion here.
They have to call timeout. They got screwed up. They had the kicking team on the field. They wanted the regular team to stay on the field.
Correct me. That's their second timeout I think they've taken this half. I'm not sure of it.
That's correct.
I think it is. That's Steven's first catch of the football game, by the way, and how big was that?
And, Jerry, that has to drive Nick Mourouzis crazy. You had to be thinking two-point conversion from the minute you started this drive.
Yes.
That kind of thing cannot happen in a close game like this.
I agree. Somebody got messed up. Somebody didn't communicate on the sideline. Of course, if you've never been on the sideline, you don't understand. There's so much going on there. And then somebody needed to get the unit together and say, man, if we're going to go for, when we score the touchdown, don't say if, when we score the touchdown, we're going to go for 2 points, and that didn't get communicated to the players.
Well, here is, and I don't know how many times Joe and Jerry and I have said that, here's the biggest play of the game. It's beginning to sound a bit redundant, but indeed it is the case right now. It's the Wabash Little Giants 17, the Tigers of DePauw 15, 6:51 to go, fourth quarter, and now because of that missed point after earlier in the game, DePauw forced to go for the two-point conversion.
Well, this is big, and this is big.
They send John Stevens wide to the right side of your screen. Everybody else pretty much in tight. Joe Shane has been he's been the big guy in this football game today. He is now. They make the move. They make the shift. Now Shane will set it to slot to the right side.
Watch Dan Ryan in the corner. No, bubble screen.
They've got it to Shane. Did he get in?
Didn't get in.
He did not get in. Great defensive play by the Wabash Little Giants.
What a
We
tackle
think it
at
was
the goal
Ryan
line.
Freeman in that area over there, Joe.
Let's take a look at the replay. How close is this? The bubble screen again. Shane catches it, and it is Ryan Freeman who makes a great stop in his final Monon Bell game. We interviewed his dad early on, Tom Freeman, class of 70. I guarantee you Tom jumped as high as he's ever jumped down in the stands. That was a great play.
That angle didn't show us, Joe or Jerry, but that had to be literally inches from the goal line.
Had to be inches. There was a player on the ground also that fought off the block that was a factor in that too, Joe. I don't know who that player was, but that's a great job by him.
Jason Lee, 20 of 38, 209 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns, 1 intercept, and on that two-point conversion, which did not succeed, now the game has a little bit of a different flavor to it.
And we talked at the top of the show that the team that made the fewest special teams mistakes would win the game. Wabash probably has made more special teams mistakes, but DePauw has been the biggest so far. That extra point is huge right now.
It was. We said right when it happened, it was huge. This is kind of like the presidential election. Too close to call, yeah?
It is too close to call right now. You are good observation, Jerry Berndt.
At this point, I am not interested in any recap.
No, we don't want to recap. You don't want to do it again, right?
Well, I would have liked to kick that extra point again.
Ben Murray with a kick that's kind of a line drive kick right through the hands of the receiver over there. And let's see, it'll be a touchdown, a touchback. Brent Graber is the young man whose legs it went right through.
Well, there's some question that a Wabash player, I couldn't catch the number, but one of the upbacks, DePauw saying touch the ball, and if he did, that's a DePauw touchdown.
To what Joe was talking about just moments ago. And Joe, your observation is right on. If that ball was touched, that changes everything.
And this worries me that the officials are taking this long to talk it over.
Well, it doesn't worry me yet.
And let's take a look at the replay.
Now watch the up man. Well, it's already happened by now.
Yes.
Or even
right
if
there.
it may have been touched right there.
It goes through his legs, but I think someone in front of Graber touched the ball. I don't know if we have a replay that starts earlier in the return or not, but from our angle, it looked like the front man may have touched the ball. Nick Mourouzis certainly thinks so, and here we'll take a look at it. Here's the kick. Let's see if we can catch it right about here. Not too close to tell, but boy, there's a chance.
The trajectory of the ball looked like it might have changed.
It did look like it changed. I will give you that.
Yeah.
But as they say, all week long, too close to call. But I'm telling you right now, the DePauw coaching staff is out there in unison. There's Nick right there. And they are wanting a call. And what this means, it's either Wabash's football on their own 20 with a touchback, or, as you pointed out, it's touchdown DePauw.
And Nick Mourouzis is going to lose the debate. DePauw ball.
He's going to lose that one, yep. Well,
Wabash ball.
You know, the other problem with it is, I think the official in the end zone might have prematurely blown the whistle.
Possibility also.
And that negates everything then.
That's a good point, because he immediately waved his arm to signal a touchback when it landed in the end zone.
As he naturally would, Joe, because he doesn't know it's been touched.
And he would be blowing his whistle, signaling touchback. That's a good point, Coach.
But we had one of the major college games in the last 2 or 3 weeks decided on that kind of a situation where an inadvertent whistle, so to speak, nullified what would have been a play going the other way. Conversation continues over there, but it's going to stand with 6 minutes and 43 seconds to play. The official now talking over toward our sideline over here. They'll start the clock and off we go. Jake Knott has been a quarterback the entire game for the Wabash offense. He will pitch back. What a terrific defensive hit that time by Freddie Marrero. Where did he come from?
He was coming on a stunt that time, right into the play.
They had brought the strong safety up tight almost into a linebacker, even a lineman's position. Watch the top of your screen, Freddie Marrero.
Well, that again, he's at nickel back. He's playing at linebacker spot, Jerry, and he's at nickel back out there, and he came on a stunt.
Wow, what a play by Freddie.
Well, the problem DePauw has is they only have one timeout left.
17-15 your score. Wabash in red.
No backs again. We've got a little cluster set down here to the right.
At the bottom of your screen to the left, that's the cluster that Jerry's referring to. Back to throw. Over the middle, incomplete. Bert Casper, the intended receiver, he was wanting pass interference. Corey Yost and David Blackburn in the area.
David Blackburn again, he's got one-on-one coverage, and Casper, he gets some help in the secondary, but all day long, he's been matched up with Casper.
Now, Jerry Berndt, we just talked about the fact that DePauw Wabash might use a lot of the clock to eat up the time. Instead, they have only run off a few seconds, and it's 3rd down and 15.
Well, that 5-yard loss really took them out of their rhythm at that point. That was a big play for DePauw. This is another huge play. Every play gets play.
And Kirk Casper, now they shift. Kirk Casper is lined up at the tailback for a minute. I wonder what might have been going on, but they shift into the gun.
They're going to send off the ball. And right on top of him, defensively, is big number 99 again. That's Olsen Jaquette defensively on a bad snap from center, or at least a mishandle from center. And just like that, in what, guys, about 30 seconds, DePauw gets the football back again.
That's unbelievable, you know.
Second fumble for Jake Knott today. You remember he fumbled on the goal line in the first quarter. And this has been a rather shaky proposition for Wabash, punting the football.
Well, DePauw is going to get great field position here with 5 minutes plus left on the clock.
Waterman gets it away. Stevens will take it at the 35, 30, 25, near the 23-yard line before he is finally hit. But Stevens gets good field position for the DePauw Tigers as Terrence Nance comes in to make the stop.
I mean, that is huge. Again, Joe, you talk about special teams play, and there it is again. That's a low kick, a line kick, a run back, and a super field position.
25 yards on the kick. Let's go down to Davey Neal.
Thanks a lot, Jerry. I'm here with head swim coach Gail Pebworth. Gail, on behalf of everyone here at Wabash, congratulations on being the first woman inducted into the Wabash Athletic Hall of Fame. How does that make you feel?
Well, it's such an honor to be part of Wabash in general, and to be in this rich athletic tradition. I'm really, truly humbled and honored.
Congratulations. Thanks a lot, and try and stay warm.
Will do.
Back to you guys.
Jason Lee completes the pass to John Stevens. Joe Trebley is the defender in the area. Pickup of about 8 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd down and a couple of yards to go. And I'll go back and kind of wind things up for you again. We were not sure that Jason Lee was going to play. If so, how much would he play? But he has gone the entire game, Jerry Berndt. He's done a remarkable job.
What a courageous effort by the young man. He's playing with that knee brace on, and it's serious. He'll probably have a serious knee operation when the season's over with. He's done a super job. They've got Dan Ryan matched up 1-on-1 right here, man.
Jackson Rust is in the backfield right now with Lee and gets the football. There is Rust in for the touchdown. Did he get there?
Yes, he got there.
Yes, he did. Touchdown, DePauw.
Wow. What a turnabout, huh? That's Jackson Rust, by the way. I believe his mother works in the athletic department at DePauw.
Wabash knew DePauw would screen and draw all day, and they run the draw to perfection here.
That's that little trap draw, and they were coming with a stunt, and they just caught him right.
That is only the 22nd ball. Well, he had 21 carries coming into the game, did Jackson Russ, and that's his first touchdown of the season.
And I suspect DePauw will again go for 2 points here.
17-21. 4-point difference.
Yeah, the coaches always, they have a chart that tells them whether to go for 2 points or not. And they, you know, sometimes the coaches do that early in the game, and most of the time it's saved for the third or fourth quarter. So they've gone to their 2-point chart and say, hey, we need to go for 2 now.
Yep.
And one of the big,
they are going to.
One of the big stories we haven't talked about today, DePauw has completely taken B.J. Hammer out of the game for the Wabash defense.
In fact, we haven't called his name twice in the whole game, I don't believe. Second touchdown in the last 2 minutes and 25 seconds. Here's the 2-point conversion. All kinds of time for Jason Lee. He gets it away and threw it away.
They were trying to go to Dan Ryan in a little hitch pattern, and they had double coverage on him that time.
That's B.J. Hammer, the defensive tackle, coming in to make the pressure that time. And that's, again, a secondary sack, if you will, and a secondary pressure because he had nobody to throw to.
Here we go again, man. This is the Monon Bell, guys.
Oh. This is the reason why they bring in all the extra seats. Yeah. They have all the security, and people stay up nights worrying about this game. People who are not even associated with the schools directly, but have gone to school or are just fans in the various communities. What a game this has been today. Not necessarily, Joe and I were talking at halftime, not necessarily a great played game, but it has been a fun game to watch and work.
And Coach, right now, the biggest play of the game is Freddie Morero's tackle on that first down toss sweep, and Wabash got the ball back. That really reset the tone. Wabash had been hammering DePauw with the run, and that play really turned the tide.
You're right, Joe. And you know, that's a play that they'd run with success. And maybe they went to the well once too many times. I don't know. You know, but coaches have a tendency to do that. They like to go to things that they're having success with.
Absolutely. Ben Murray will kick it off. Here's the youngster. He'll kick it deep to Kurt Casper, number 1, or Brent Graber, number 6. It will be Casper in the corner. He will pick it up at the 3. Out across the 10. Up near the 15-yard line. Not very good field position, but 4:16 to play, and Wabash will have the offensive football again.
Well, I tell you what, Joe, you've been right on the special teams. Their kick return, punt return, and kickoff return has not been good all day long.
First down and 10.
But Wabash will get the football. Here's the way they'll line them up. It'll be Jake Knott at quarterback. We have seen an awful lot of run action out of Corey Mock, number 31. His total carries up in excess of 25 carries today. They split them out both ways, and again, nobody in the backfield except Jake Knott.
Yeah, Corey Mock's out of the game right now. They put an extra receiver in. They brought that receiver in to block Frisky.
Knott got the ball off to Casper. Did he catch it or not? Yes, he did. The clock keeps on running. It's shy of the first down.
4 minutes.
John Christopherson, number 2 defensively at the free safety spot in the area. Mock now officially 28 carries, 122 yards.
To the 23, gain of 9 and 2nd and 1.
So they have it again. They have 5 receivers in the game. Corey Mock is out, so there's no back set now.
2 plays, 23 yards, 47 seconds on that last drive by Jackson Russ, the 15-yard touchdown run for him. 3 minutes and 42 seconds to play. Knock back to throw again. Knocks down the line of scrimmage. Was it Frisky again?
It looked like Frisky that time.
Oh, he has had himself a whale of a football game.
Either Stanback or Frisky. They both were in the same area.
Frisky Williams, second on the team in total tackles, coming into the game with 49. 19, he leads the team in tackles for a loss with 19. He's had a great game today.
Oh boy. Well, this. If they don't make it here, they'll go for it on 4th down, obviously.
3 minutes and 39 seconds to play. The clock is stopped momentarily with that incomplete pass.
Yeah, throwing him out again to Corey Mock.
Not out to Corey Mock in the flat. Nowhere to go.
They may have to punt the ball, man.
Jason Geringer, the middle linebacker, number 48, is the guy in on the tackle that time, and it's a 4th down.
Ooh. That was a big play,
It's about 3 or 4 yards. You betcha it was, Coach. But they've got to kick it away with 3 minutes and 10 seconds to play. If you don't, you've given the DePauw even better field position. John Stevens again is deep, standing right at midfield on the 50-yard line, just out of your picture to the right of the screen.
DePauw's playing for a fake punt.
Loneman did not hit it particularly well. Stevens gets out of the way. It rambles down to the 45-yard line, and DePauw will get it.
Inside 3 minutes. Now, all comes down now. If DePauw can control the game and run the clock, they'll win the football game. They can win the game right here, but by doing something they haven't done all day.
29 yards on the punt that time. We've talked a lot about the defenses in this game, and now Wabash's defense, Joe, has got to step up. With 2:49, a lot can happen in less than 3 minutes in the football game.
And they have to make a stop right here. They cannot allow DePauw to get down inside the Wabash 30-yard line. Field position is a real key if Wabash gets the ball back. Ideally, Wabash needs a turnover right here.
Yes.
Good point just made to me back here. Wabash has all 3 of its timeouts, and they will.
Joe Shane's at quarterback. Joe Shane at quarterback. He's running the sweep right now.
He will take the snap at deep and get it out across midfield. He got about 6 yards on that play.
Yeah, that's Joe Shane. They put a quarterback. They put that in this week.
On the run, tackled by Bouet and Heck.
In fact, was Jason Lee even on the field for that play?
No,
Jerry.
No, Lee was not in the field.
All right.
Shane replaced him. They lined up in almost a single wing. Now, again, I haven't seen a single wing in 30 years, but that's really what that was lined up in.
You've got it in your playbook somewhere, I know.
Someplace it's there, yes, sir.
In case you missed it, Jerry Berndt working with us on the DePauw side of the ledger, coached here for a couple of years. You had a perfect season going. What was that? What year was that?
Well, 1980, we played Wabash here to a 22-22 tie. And we were 7-2-1 that year, and I can still see that game vividly. We had a little receiver late in the game catch a 2-point conversion to tie the game, and Stan Parrish was a coach then. And Stan and I have become very good friends, and hard to believe a Paul guy would become good friends with the Wabash guy.
Boy, did he have a terrific record at the school. Stan Parrish, one of the best ever.
Yes, sir. Stan's a great person and a great coach.
And he's doing a great job with that offense at the University of Michigan.
Yeah, they scored a lot of points last week. Unfortunately, they didn't win.
Well, here's the scenario with 2 minutes and 40 seconds to play in the game. 21-17 in favor of DePauw. The Tigers in white with the ball. The Little Giants with the red jerseys trying desperately to get it back.
Well, there's that inside trap, and they didn't block the backside 3 technique.
Nothing doing for A.J. Smart.
And for the first time today, B.J. Hammer makes some noise. The heart and soul of this defense, who is the all-time leader in tackles for a loss and sacks in a single season, made the stop there to set up 3rd down and long. And it is taken until the 2-minute and 33-second mark of the entire ball game for B.J. Hammer to make some noise.
And he is 4th on the team in total tackles with 56 coming into the game, and leads the team in tackles for loss with 22. But you and I just commented, Joe, we had not called his name very often today.
Well, you know, you got to give credit to the DePauw offensive line. They're a little undersized, but they're very athletic, and they've done a great job of handling him.
We mentioned the DePauw offensive line, 250 pounds. The front 4 for Wabash averages 241.3, so not a lot of difference there. Now we have a 3rd and 8. And this is another big play
of the game.
I'll tell you what, this is why my hair is so gray, making calls like this. And Wabash has 1 timeout left, I believe.
That's 1 more timeout.
There's a little swing pass to Shane.
Got it to Shane. Boy, when in doubt, find your money man. And Joe Shane has been that today. He gets all the way down to the 20-yard line before Chad Springer can chase him down, and there are no flags on the field.
They ran a little whirl route. They started Shane across on a drag route like he usually runs, and whirled back outside and had him open.
Well, this young man's had a great game today, Coach.
Oh, he has. You know, I picked Dan Ryan. It was either Shane or Dan Ryan. For some reason, I thought Dan Ryan would come up, but Shane has been a big guy for DePauw.
29 yards on the run that time.
It's a 1st down for the Tigers.
Shane with 6 carries for a net of 16 yards on the season coming into the game today. And in fact, he was averaging 2.7 yards per carry, and they have utilized his strength today, much like we've seen on the other side of the football, Joe, with the Wabash.
Okay, there's a timeout. That's Wabash's last timeout.
That's it.
And there's 1:55. Now, if you think about it, DePauw, basically, there's between 30 and 35 seconds between each snap. So DePauw has 3 more snaps. If they don't get a 1st down, Wabash will at least get a chance for a couple of plays. if all they try to do is run out the clock at this point. Again, this is those scenarios that coaches practice all of the time. They practice this. This is the end of the game situation. They're practicing on both sides. Wabash needs to get the ball back. DePauw needs to just try to keep the clock moving. They don't need to score. Just maintain possession of the ball and maintain the clock.
Greg Carlson had brought Trevin Upkis, the middle linebacker, over to the near sideline to chat with him. A minute 52 to go in this terrific game. As far as pure excitement and emotion is concerned, I guess those guys, they always are.
Well, again, sometimes those things happen in football games.
Now, we've seen a lot of turnovers.
Yes,
Not putting jinx on anybody now. We saw 6 in the first half of this game.
They have Shane and Joe Shane again at quarterback. He's going to run that little sweep play with him.
He had the blockers out front. He really doesn't care how far he goes. He just wants to keep the clock running. B.J. Hammer again in on the stop, and the clock's down to 1 minute and 40 seconds.
And most importantly, the clock keeps running, and Wabash is out of timeouts.
Yep. So there it is. So now the clock has started. So now they have 24 seconds to get the ball back in play.
Jerry, let me ask you, you're talking about them getting Joe Shane in as basically, quote, quarterback, unquote. Is that just to avoid any kind of a handoff? They want him to have the ball anyway?
They're going to run a sweep with him. That's what they did for those 2 plays.
All right, Jason Lee is back in at quarterback now. He has the snap from center out of the shotgun. Over the middle, here's the pass. It is caught. Touchdown!
What a great catch. John Stevens, what a great catch.
The defender appeared to be there.
He did. He just went up and got the ball. That's all he did, is went up and got the ball.
Brad Taphorn, I believe, is the defender. We'll check it in. Was it Taphorn? Here it is again, Joe.
It was Chad Springer. He was right with the receiver,
he was there.
And he just threw it over the top. And now there are flags all over the place. I think this may be a celebration penalty against DePauw.
Yeah, you're right, Joe.
Yep, it's a celebratory penalty, but right now with 27-17, I'm not sure that DePauw cares all that much.
I thought the ball was going to be intercepted. Look at it. It looked like Springer had the inside track on it. Yes,
absolutely did. Springer was right there, and it almost appeared to go through his hands.
Well, you have to give DePauw credit. They have made big play after big play. I don't care what his numbers are. Jason Lee is the MVP of this football game.
Well, here are his numbers, Joe. 21 of 41, 269 yards, 1 interception, but 3 touchdown passes.
And playing under the duress he played with, and people didn't even know whether he was going to play today. He's done a magnificent job. Wow, look at that. They had 2 back-to-back celebration penalties.
Well, DePauw will go for the point after, one of the longest point afters in history. It'll be a 49-yarder.
Oh, my Lord. Can he kick it that far?
Ben Murray will try it. No, they're going to fake it, and why not? Just take the knee and go from there. It was Scott Shelbourne, number 14, who was the holder on the snaps.
Wow. I'll tell you what a turnaround in this game. Just a couple of plays here and there make such a difference in a football game, and we saw it true in this game again.
But the turnovers in the first half of the game, guys, were significant on both sides of the football. We saw each team gain a touchdown or a score anyway from turnovers. We haven't had as many turnovers in the second half, but there have been a lot of hills and valleys, if you will.
Boy.
And what a difference a half makes. A horribly played 3-3 first half to a second half that's been very well played. Very few turnovers, very few penalties, and big plays all around. And I still have to go back to the Freddie Marrero tackle on the first down sweep play after DePauw cut it to 2. That play really strikes me as the one that turned the tide for good.
Well, you recall, Joe, the very next play, they went to the air, and incomplete pass. Now the clock is stopped. You've run 2 plays in a matter of a few seconds, and now suddenly DePauw gets the football back again.
Yeah, just when Wabash needed ball control. Yes.
And Murray with the little squib kick upfield. It is knocked down and covered at the 27-yard line with 1 minute and 3 seconds to go. Stuart Johnson in defensively.
Okay, so this is one of those scenarios again that they practice, and Wabash knows they've got to get 2. They got to get 2 scores, and DePauw knows that. So DePauw is going to back off a little bit and probably play 2 deep coverages with 5 underneath, or They could even go with a 3-man rush here.
But they've got to put the ball in the air, right, Jerry?
They have to put the ball in the air. DePauw's going with a 3-man rush here.
As goofy as this game has been at times today, anything could happen here, Joe, in a minute and 3 seconds, I swear. They got to go deep, and they got to go quick, and they've got a receiver out there, and it is a penalty marker down. Kurt Casper, the intended receiver. They're going to call defensive pass interference by David Blackburn, number 31, the cornerback in the area.
Casper was wide open, and he was bumped as the ball arrived, and a flag flies. And boy, usually when it's that close, the flag stays in the pocket in a tight game, but they threw the laundry on the field, and Wabash will pick up big yardage on the penalty. We'll take a look at it on the replay. Casper has been largely ineffective today, and that has more to do with DePauw's defensive scheme than Casper's play, but the interference will give Wabash a big gain for a first down. And
it took 7 seconds, Joe. That's what I was referring to a couple of moments ago.
And David Blackburn has done a great job because he's been matched up with Casper all day. It looked to me again like that was very similar to the one DePauw touchdown where Casper thought he was going to get help over the top and didn't get it.
8 penalties against DePauw today for a total of 83 yards.
No backs again. DePauw's in a 2-deep scheme defensively.
Casper again down the right side of the field. This time they're looking that way, and it may have been intercepted. Is the pick? Nope, we're going to call it an incomplete pass.
He had it in his hands, but it came out.
Casper, by the way, you guys were talking about how he has not been a major player. 4 catches, 37 yards today. David Blackburn, the defender in the area that time.
And Kirk Casper came into today the 8th leading receiver in the country in catches per game. And, you know, it's easy for Wabash folks to be critical of Kirk Casper not being a big part of this game, B.J. Hammer not being a big part of this game. In reality, it has a lot to do with how well DePauw played on both sides of the ball. They are the ones that took those players out of the game.
You guys both made points of that on both sides of the football today. Corey Mock become a big name on that Wabash offensive scheme, and we weren't expecting that to happen today. Back to throw again. Over the middle, the pass is caught. It is complete this time to Ryan Short.
First down, clock will stop and move the chain. But again, David Blackburn, a freshman corner,
39 seconds to play.
Nice job today.
He has, very much so.
And DePauw, that speaks well for DePauw in the future because both their corners are freshmen. Both Blackburn and Tillis, and they played well.
Clock showing 38 seconds in the game, 27-17 in favor of DePauw. Wabash football trying to pick up something over the middle. The pass is caught again to Ryan Short. Another first down.
Well, Wabash moving the ball well in the 2-minute drill, but unfortunately, I think it's going to be too little too late. Just 29 seconds. Even if they would score on this play, they would need an extra point and a recovered onside kick, and they would probably have about 19 or 20 seconds to get it in the end zone without any timeouts to help stop the clock.
19-yard pickup by Wabash this time. Jake Knott back to throw again. Good defensive coverage in the secondary. It's just kind of thrown up for grabs. It'll be intercepted by DePauw, and it'll be a touchback, and the DePauw Tigers are going to win this football game, and that would be 5 in a row.
And that's unheard of, isn't it, man? Has that ever happened before?
Wabash had it 5 in a row before this current winning streak for DePauw. 4 wins and a tie. DePauw has not had the bell 5 years in a row since a 10-year streak dating from the mid-50s to the mid-60s.
Now DePauw won it 8 times from 55 to 64 with 2 ties tossed in there. Wabash had a 7-game win streak from 21 to 27. But 5 straight wins now for DePauw.
The campus community of the losing team always feels badly. People are a little depressed, but Jerry, you know, the people to really feel for, the people your heart goes out to are the seniors on the losing team. And I'll tell you what, this group of seniors for Wabash this year had a great year. They set the tone all season long, and it is a bitter pill to swallow for some of the best seniors to ever play at Wabash to lose 4 straight Monon Bell games.
Yeah, and if you've never been involved in it or any kind of a game, you don't understand that. From a coaching standpoint, you feel for everybody. I feel great for the DePauw kids, and you do. You feel really bad for the seniors. And I know because I coached. I had 2 senior classes that didn't beat Wabash.
I'm glad to see this, guys. We're looking at DePauw getting around the Monon Bell and lifting it, but on the field, I'm seeing handshakes between the players on both sides of the football. Now Nick Mourouzis and Greg Carlson meet, and I love that because this game has a high velocity octane content to it.
Well, and one of the problems at both Blackstock Stadium and Little Giant Stadium has been crowd control over the years. Everybody in the stadium not rushing the field, controlling themselves, letting the players, the people who deserve to ring the bell first, get out there and get it. And DePauw with a deserving celebration, the drive for 5 complete for the Tigers. And a depressed and dejected Little Giant team leaves the field with 5 straight Monon Bell losses.
Now, guys, let me get your thoughts on this. Listen to these numbers for Wabash. Jake Nutt, 21 of 40, 1 touchdown, 1 intercept, 220 yards. Lee, 21 of 41, 269 yards, 1 intercept, and 3 touchdowns. This is a quarterback, Lee, we're talking about, whom we weren't even sure was going to play today. He had a terrific day, and Jake Nutt counted it, just throw for throw.
Well, the 3 touchdowns obviously are huge. The fact that Lee hung in there like he did today, and the uncertainty of him being playing and making some of those good reads, and they couldn't get to him. The offensive line of DePauw did an outstanding job today.
This game is very special, and I would only say to both Wabash and DePauw fans, if you have, or just football fans, if you have the opportunity, come and enjoy. This is something very special. There's your final score. All right, that's it. I'm Jerry Baker saying so long this afternoon from the Byron P. Hollett Little Giant Stadium, where the DePauw Tigers have come away for the 5th consecutive year with a win, 27-17. Our thanks to our crew from Channel 40 today for a job well done.